Let me use this opportunity to appreciate some of you who were here from beginning to end yesterday to take care of some of the issues that were outstanding due to the long holidays. Nigerians saw you as dedicated. Nigerians saw you as those who are interested in what the people of Nigeria are concerned about. And we encourage you today to also stand to celebrate Nigeria like we did yesterday. We are continuing today, and that will go on till tomorrow. This whole week is about our independence. So 30 minutes or thereabout of our time will always be dedicated to discussing our challenges and our successes in the country. And that way your constituents will be able to hear you and will be able to know your stand on some of these issues. When we make that call, 1 minute, 2 minutes will be enough for you to let Nigerians know what they feel about our independence and what is happening in the country. Announcements. This announcement is coming from Honorable Olami Juwonlo Alo Akala of Obomosho North South Orire Federal Constituency. On behalf of the good people of Obomosho North South Orire, I would like to announce the confirmation of the new Shaun of Obomosho, His Imperial Majesty Oba Gandhi Afolabi Olaoye, the Rumogege 3 and the 30th Shaun of Obomosho. We are hopeful that his influence, position, and exposure will move Obomosho to the next level in peace and stability. While the coronation day is pending, I pray that the House accept this as a formal announcement. Congratulations to the people of Obomosho, and may the reign of the King be long. This announcement is coming from Honorable Anamiro Dekeri. Notice of the transition of my father to eternal glory. Late Pa James Sunday Dekeri, 1933 to 2023. It is with great sadness that I announce the solemn departure of my father and mentor, Pa James Sunday Dekeri, who passed on to glory on the 6th of September 2023. His unwavering love, guidance, and support held immense value to my personal and professional life. As a devoted father and role model, Pa James Sunday Dekeri was an essential pillar of strength, wisdom, and inspiration in my life, and many who knew him. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I thank you all for your prayers and empathy. And I hope that when you receive our invitation to the burial ceremony, you will honor us with your esteemed presence. Please accept my sincere gratitude for your attention to this matter. We remain grateful for your unwavering commitment to the service of our great nation and plead for a minute silence in honor of my departed hero. Accept the condolences of the House, the leadership of the House, and the members of the 10th Assembly. May the Lord give you both the fortitude to bear the loss. Shall we rise for the 1 minute silence as requested by the Honorable Colleagues? May the soul of the departed rest in perfect peace. Any member who has a petition to present to the House may please rise to do so. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I'm Professor Julius Ihonvere, Owan Federal Constituency, Edo State. I have two petitions here, both from the same organization called the One Love Foundation, and it is headed by Chief Dr. Patrick Osage Eholo, otherwise known as Ultimate Equal, very well known in Edo State. The first petition from the One Love Foundation is on the urgent appeal to accelerate a bill for INEC to conduct council polls. His prayer is that the House should seek to discuss at some point and possibly amend the Constitution so that INEC will conduct local government elections as against the state governments. The second petition, sir, is on the need to urgently investigate why Nigerians are labeled as money launderers by Chinese authorities. He recounts his experience. Money was sent to him when he ran out of money. He couldn't cash it in any bank. And when he asked, they told him that Nigerians are money launderers. I seek your permission, Mr. Speaker, to lay both reports.
The Leader of the House, you may please lay your petition. This petition is referred to the Public Petition Committee once fully constituted. Yes, Honorable Eden.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Udwang Alfonso Sodudo is my name, representing the good people of Ikot Abasi, Ikbaranin, and East Nobolo Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, this petition, I have one petition here, and this petition is from Mr. Idemefe Alban Francis, and is also signed by the petitioner. Mr. Speaker, this petition is against the non-payment of arrears and pension by the Nigerian Military Pension Board against this petitioner. And the only prayer in this petition is that his arrears of pension and other entitlements should be paid, having retired from service in 2004. And the Military Pension Board sent a verification team to Akwa Ibom, Ibawa Barracks, in 2006. He participated, and after that, his pension has still not been paid. And so his only prayer is that the House should intervene for his entitlement to be paid. Mr. Speaker, if I have your leave, I'll proceed to lay the petition before the House.
The leave is granted. You may now lay a petition. This petition is referred to the Public Petitions Committee once fully constituted. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Wale Raji. I represent Ekpe Federal Constituency of Lagos State. I have a petition from Iraye community in Ekpe Federal Constituency of Lagos State. And it is titled, Petition Against the Nigerian Army for acts of intimidation, assault, and trespass over a total of 329 hectares of land belonging to Lenuwa royal family at Iraye Oke without any lawful reason or legal instrument of acquisition. And the prayer is that the House, as a matter of extreme urgency, to intervene and come to the aid of the community by investigating our complaints and unveil the veracity of same and save Iraye Oke from imminent and inevitable extermination. Mr. Speaker, I seek your permission to tender the petition. Thank you.
Leave is hereby granted. Leave is hereby granted. You may now present your petition. Lay your petition. This petition is referred to the Public Petitions Committee once fully constituted. Any other petition? Yes, Honorable Ezel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and most respected colleagues. My name is Honorable Eze, Nwachukwu Eze, representing the good people of Ebonyi, Ohuku Federal Constituency of Ebonyi State, Southeast Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, I have two petitions to present on behalf of some reasonable Nigerians. The first one is titled Petition on Wrongful Dismissal from Service, Appeal for Reinstatement. This petition is written by Alhaji Ali. Mr. Speaker, it borders on his unlawful removal as the Vice Chancellor of a university in Nigeria. This is an inhuman treatment on his person and infringement on his right, and is calling on the House to look into this situation and pray the House to, first of all, ensure his restatement, and the second prayer for his entitlement to be paid. That is the first petition, Mr. Speaker. The second one is the cry of trailer drivers who are being maltreated as a result of sales of equity and property of one Adax Petroleum to NNPC. These people were laid off their service without any compensation paid. This petition is hereby signed by the following persons: Lambert Emmanuel, Wahid Adams, Emmanuel Agu, Samson Oveje, Jolly Asomata, Emmanuel Obu, and James Ipide. Mr. Speaker, they are asking the company to be brought to order so that the entitlements as Nigerians who have duly served should be paid. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I seek your permission to lay the petition.
Thank you. Leave of the House is hereby granted. You may now lay your petition. This petition is referred to Committee on Public Petitions once fully constituted. Yeah, any more petition? Yes, from the back.
Hello. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Ben Etana Bene. I represent the people of Okbe, Saple, Uwe Federal Constituency. I have a petition written by Owe Raymond, and the title of the petition is Mr. Speaker's kind intervention in my case, a 400 level dentistry student with my department and the authorities of the University of Benin, which has taken over 7 years, to resolve. Mr. Speaker, the caveat here is that the man sat for his 400 level examination. Part of the result released.
Please leave the aisle. Leave the aisle. Let's sit down, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Part of the result released and another part withheld. This matter has taken up to 7 years today, and it has not been resolved. Mr. Speaker, the petitioner is requesting your kind intervention and appealing to you that you should help ask the authorities of the University of Benin and the department to release this result. Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, allow me to lay this petition on the floor of the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable. You may now lay your petition. This petition is referred to House Committee on Public Petitions once fully constituted. Yes, sir.
I remain Honorable Emmanuel Ogoro, representing Abakaliki, Izzi Federal Constituency of Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, this petition is against Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
The Parliament is not a civic center or a marketplace. Please let us leave the aisle. It's against the rule of this house, our standard rules. We should keep the aisle free at all times. And people should sit down, especially when there's a presentation going on. Honorable member, please sit down. Thank you. I appreciate your compliance. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So that you'll be well heard.
I said I remain Honorable Emma Ogoro, representing Abakaliki Izzi Federal Constituency of Ebonyi State. This petition is against Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Ministry of Budget and National Planning over bogus social investment programs and requests for it to be furnished, to furnish Nigerians with its social investment register. This petition is coming from an organization called Obasi Passing Health Foundation. Mr. Speaker, the request is for the House, this Honorable House, to call on these ministries to come and account for the bogus programs on humanitarian activities under them. Mr. Speaker, I ask to be allowed to come and lay the petition.
You may now lay your petition, please.
Thank you, Mr.
Be contented with talking. Prof.
My leader.
This petition is referred to the Public Petitions Committee once fully constituted. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And good morning, my colleagues. My name is Clement Jimbo. I represent the people of Abak, Etmekboika Federal Constituency from Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to lay a petition before this honorable House. The petition is signed by Obasi Macpherson Chukuma. The petition is against the Central Bank of Nigeria and Nigerian Security Printing and Minting PLC over the scarcity of the new Naira notes and their failure to disclose to Nigerians how much of the new Naira notes have been printed since the inception of the currency redesign policy. Mr. Speaker, I will just go to the 7th paragraph of this petition to read.
Is that a petition?
Yes.
Read it again, start again.
Okay, the petition is against the Central Bank of Nigeria and Nigerian Security Printing and Minting PLC over the scarcity of the new Naira notes and their failure to disclose to Nigerians how much of the new Naira notes have been printed since the inception of the currency redesign policy.
I think that issue. Okay, before I make my comment, let's listen to the point of order. Who is raising point of order? Honorable Gadi.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I am Yusuf Adamugagdi, representing Panshin Kanke Kanam Federal Constituency from Plateau State. I rise to raise a point of order based on Order 9, Rule 5, and I quote, Mr. Speaker. Reference shall not be made to any
them
matter.
to the page. Refer them to the page.
Page 47. Rules of debate. Order 9, Rule 5.
Yes,
We
go
are
ahead.
restricted not to make reference to any matter on which judicial decision is pending in such a way as it made, in the Speaker's opinion, prejudice to the interests of parties thereto. Mr. Speaker, there was a pronouncement and there is a pending issue. But this rule have donated that power to you to interpret whether this matter can be discussed in the form of petition before this House. I'm only calling our attention to the provision of this order so that we may not be acting in opposition to the House rules that seems to guide the conduct of these proceedings. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, but I don't think it's a debate. I think Order 9 has to do with debate. Yeah, this has to do with petition. But my concern is the issue and the way it's couched should have come as a motion. And then when it comes as a motion, then the Rule 9 that is being referred to by my honorable brother will become active, because it will be subjudicial to debate it. So I don't think that can come as a petition. I want to direct that you come by way of motion. Let's see if we can look at those prayers as a house, not as a committee. Because what you're asking us to do now is to have this huge responsibility sent to the public petitions committee, when a resolution of the House might have a far-reaching effect than that of the committee, who will still come back to the House for consideration of their report. So I don't think we'll be taking that. Next, any petition?
Yes.
Yes. The man with 50 petition, no, please wait. Here, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
Honorable Afam. Honorable Ogede, I was just joking. Your name is not the man with the 50 petition.
Thank you.
But you shocked us yesterday. You really gave us a shock. Okay, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm Honorable Fatoba Olushola. I represent the good people of Ado Ekiti, report the Felodo Federal Constituency. I'm from Ekiti State. Mr. Speaker, Honorable colleagues.
Honorable Gadi, approach the chair.
I have two petitions with me here. One is from Mr. Daniel Ojong and Associates, which has to do with complaint against the illegal operations of tank farms in the Calabar Free Trade Zone and Esok Utan community in Calabar, Cross River State, and request for immediate investigation, intervention, and shutdown of those same tank farms. Then the second one is from MC Chamber, Mr. Uwepe and Associates. This petition has to do with petitioning. This is petition against the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company and the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission over perennial blackout, extortion, and the total neglect of Ibise District in Imo State. Mr. Speaker, may I seek for your permission to lay these petitions? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, the leave is hereby granted. And this petition is referred to the Public Petitions Committee once fully constituted. I must say this before I allow Honorable Ogene to lay the petition. We cannot spend the major part of our plenary on receiving petitions. Our major work here is to debate on issues and make laws for our country. Let us not make it a tradition where 100 petitions will now cloud other issues on the other paper. I'm sure I will discuss with the leadership of the House that every day not more than 10 petitions should be taken, or even 5, so that we can do other things. In fact, we'll make it 5 every other day so that we can do other things. And I'm sure you are in agreement with me on this. I will allow Honorable Ogene. Today, I know yesterday I had allowed you to do 10. Today you will do 5. Don't do more than 5, because we don't have time. We want Nigerians to hear their representative who did not speak yesterday speak today. So, over to you, Ogene.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for yielding the floor to me. My name is Honorable Afam Victor Ogene. I represent Ogbadu Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, my very respected colleagues, the number of petitions in the files is a representative of the level of discontent in the society. But I've taken the hint, Mr. Speaker, to lay only the numbers you have approved. The first petition is one against the alleged high-handedness of the Rector of the Federal Polytechnic, Oko, by members of the Academic Board of the Polytechnic, as represented by Dr. J.C. Aro and Chibuzo Asomoha. Their prayer is that this House uses its powers to reverse the Rector's illegal abrogation of their fundamental human rights when she disqualified them from contesting an election which the law grants them the right to. The second petition is one by MC Chambers, a law firm represented by Mary Waribo Abraham Esquire, against the burning of a vessel carrying 800,000 liters of suspected stolen crude oil in the Escravos area of Delta State on Saturday, July 4, 2023, by security operatives of the Joint Task Force. The prayer is a call on the House to use its powers and good offices to probe the destruction of the oil vessel with a view to exposing those behind the theft to face the full weight of the law. The third petition is one on alleged gross abuse of passengers' rights and serious concerns of safety standards by Overland Airways Limited by Sam Aram and Co.
Which number are you now?
3.
Be mentioning it number 1, 2, 3. I don't want you to pass 5.
I mentioned it, Mr. Speaker. Their prayer is to investigate Overland Airways' consistent pattern of breach and audit the safety records of the airline. The fourth petition is against Guarantee Trust Bank and a demand for immediate refund of unauthorized and fraudulent withdrawal from a particular account number stated here belonging to Julina Olayi. The petition is from Titanium Shield
Honorable Jaha, sit down.
The
Honorable Pascal, sit down.
is that this
Honorable Runrum, sit down.
Invokes its
Honorable
power
Bob Solomon,
to
sit down.
to compel GTV to refund the sum of 13,341,432 naira illegally withdrawn from the account. The fifth petition is one against Total Energies E&P Nigeria Limited for violation of fundamental human rights, refusal to obey court order, and pay Mr. Emenike Oji the judgment sum of 7 million naira awarded by an Ahuda High Court for brutality, unlawful detention, intimidation, and blatant refusal to pay the sum for encroaching into his property. The prayer is that this House uses its good offices to make Total Energies to pay the sum as compensation. Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, may I lay these petitions on the table? I so request.
The leave is granted. You may now lay your petitions. These petitions are referred to Committee on Public Petitions once fully constituted. Any member who has a matter of urgent public importance to present to the House may rise to do so now. Yes, please. Honorable Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Distinguished colleague, Mr. Speaker, my name is Eri Tomi Thomas. I represent the people of Warri South, Warri North, and Warri Southwest. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, I come under Order 8-4 this morning to bring this matter of urgent public importance on the fuel tanker explosion at Cocoa Junction in the dilapidated Warri-Benin Highway in Delta State. Mr. Speaker, I also crave the leave of the House to suspend every other relevant rule for me to take this matter as matters of urgent public importance. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Thank you. Any seconder on the first leg of the motion that the matter is urgent? Any seconder? Yes, Honorable Ginger.
Onsibe. I represent the people of Isialangwa North, Isialangwa South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am an Ungwa man from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to second the motion as moved by my dear colleague to say that this motion is very urgent and needs to be heard now. I so second.
Those in support that this motion is urgent, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg of the motion is that this motion is urgent enough to be heard now. Any seconder to that? Doctor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Adeshola Adedayo. I represent the good people of Apapa Federal Constituency in Lagos State. I rise this morning to second the motion that this matter is urgent enough for us to be heard right now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so second.
Those in support that this motion is so urgent to be heard now, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Thomas, you may now lead your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the House notes that the unfortunate loss of over 20 lives, including children and women, on Sunday, 1st October 2023, when a falling tanker with petroleum products, PMS, exploded at Koko Junction in Warri, Benin Highway in Delta State. Aware that apart from the death recorded, other people sustained different degrees of injury, while over 16 vehicles and 3 motorcycles were destroyed by the inflow. Worried that the unfortunate incident will further worsen the plight of the road user, who have already housed to cope with the massive green lock occasioned by the dilapidated road, spending days on a journey that should have already not exceeded 45 minutes. Disturbed that Warri Benin Highway, blocked by the significant numbers of accidents each year, often involve tankers and other heavy-duty vehicles, who toppled over the drivers' maneuvered failed portions of the road. Distracts that with the accident, computers and motorists will become more exposed to attack by hoodlums and miscreants who are taking advantage of such situations to wreak havoc. Concerned that the failed portions of this road have become a death trap for users of the road, with little or no remedial effort from any quarter over the period of time to pose this kind of danger. Resolved to 1, observe a minute of silence in honor of those who have lost their life in the tragic incident. 2, urge the National Emergency Agencies and Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development to immediately send relief materials to affected victims and settle medical bills of those hospitalized. 3, urge the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, and the Federal Ministry of Work to expedite actions on the rehabilitation of the Warri Benin Highway and other federal roads around the country with a view to forestall future occurrence. 5, mandate the Committee of Emergency and Disaster Management work and legislative compliance to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I so move.
Yeah, Honorable Maki, second, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I'm Abubakar Maki Eleman, I'm from Jigawa State. I represent Malamuduri Kaugama Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I stand to second the motion heavily moved by my honorable colleague. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think this is a straightforward one, so I'm just going to put the question. Those in support of this motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. May we rise for the 1 minute silence as prayed by the motion. May the souls of the departed rest in perfect peace. You can have this. Any other member with a matter of public importance? It's Honorable Aga here. Honorable Aga from Plateau. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My respected colleagues, I remain Honorable Avia Musa Aga. I represent Basa Jos North Federal Constituency of Plateau State. I rise this morning to present a matter of urgent national importance, leveraging on Order 804, Mr. Speaker, and that I would like to crave the indulgence and belief of the House to kindly suspend the relevant rules so that this matter is allowed to be presented and heard, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
The motion has two legs. One, that it is urgent enough. Two, that it's urgent enough to be heard now. Because you know it is our law that once it is urgent, it doesn't mean it must be heard the same day. If it's urgent, our standard rule says it can be moved to the next day. So that is why people asked question yesterday privately, why are we doing first leg and second leg? The first leg, based on our rule, is that it is urgent. We accept, but that is urgent means it to be heard the following day. But if you want it to be heard immediately, you have to move for us to, suspend our rule for it to be heard on the same day. That is why we ask for the first leg and the second leg. This is for the benefit of some of those who are joining us, the new members. Any seconder to the first leg? Any seconder to that? Yes, to the first leg. Go ahead. You, on white.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am by name Honorable Ishaya David Lalu, member representing Bokos Mongo Federal Constituency of Plateau State. I rise to second the motion heavily moved by my colleague, and I so second. Thank you.
This matter is urgent that is happening in Plateau State. Say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg is that it is urgent enough to be heard now. Any seconder to that? Yes, sir. Jonathan, Honorable Jonathan Gaza.
Killings in Plateau, as mentioned by the chair. The Right Honorable Speaker, my esteemed colleagues, I rise to support the motion with regards happening in Plateau, that this issue is urgent and should be heard now. I so move.
Thank you. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable, you are free to lead your debate.
Thank you once more, my leader. And
Please
the
make it as
Speaker
brief as possible. We have a lot of things on our paper today.
of the 10th House of Representatives, my very respected colleagues. I still remain Honorable Avia Musa Aga. I represent Bassa Jos North Federal Constituency. I rise on the subject matter on the need to address the resurgence of armed harassment attacks on some communities in Bassa Jos North Federal Constituency of Plateau State. The House notes with deepest sadness the unfortunate resurgence of wanton destruction of lives and properties occasioned by the obnoxious and dastardly acts of armed harassment in some community of Irigwe Chiefdom of Bassa Local Government of Plateau State. The House further notes that Adu and Patudu villages in Kwol and Miango districts of Irigwe extraction are highly agrarian communities. The House is further worried that the affected communities, which are peaceful, innocent, and appreciate peaceful coexistence, experienced the resurgence of an unprovoked attack, beginning with the ambush/murder of one Mr. Japheth Thomas, a primary school teacher and a resident of Patudu village on the 27th of September 2023 on his way back home from a neighboring village. The House is further concerned that the armed harassmen who appeared determined and relentless in their heinous crimes later meted yet another devastating attack on innocent locals of Adu village on the 1st of October, a day that Nigeria marked her 63rd independence, leaving scores of deaths comprising of women, men, and children, with several others injured and are critically lying in different hospitals in Jos. The House therefore resolves to observe a minute's silence in honor of the deceased persons. 2, to urge the Chief of Defense Staff, the Inspector General of Police, and heads of other security agencies to, as a matter of urgency, deploy their personnel to the affected communities for joint operation to flush out the criminals and restore normalcy. The House also mandates the relevant security committees of the House and the Committee on Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Any seconder to this? Can we have Honorable Pascal?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable Pascal Abodike. I represent the Hiala Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion. I so second.
This is a straightforward motion as well. Those in support of it say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to Committee on Defense, Police and Legislative Compliance. The motion moved by Honorable Thomas is referred to Committee on NEMA, FEMA, Humanitarian Works and Housing, including Legislative Compliance. Because we have so many issues of national importance and all of them borders and security, we may waive our rules to take one more, very short one. There is a situation in Lagos at the moment, and we want to calm it. The one of Abuja will take it tomorrow. I plead with Honorable Lukman Alani to take his own by tomorrow. And while I call on the Honorable Member representing Oshodi Solo to lead, and make it very brief, please, as brief as possible.
The
Please,
Right
take this
Honorable
tomorrow.
Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name's Jesse Okejo Onwakalis.
Please, Honorable colleague, just wait for the 1 minute silence prayed by the last motion, please. Is May the soul of the departed in Plateau State rest in perfect peace. I really pray that we will not be having so many 1 minute silence. It only signifies that there's a lot of death happening due to insecurity. I look forward to a day when we will have a full week without having a 1 minute silence for anybody, because our country has become safer than it is at the moment. It's a work in progress. We are hopeful. Honorable, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and distinguished colleagues. My name again is Okejo Onwakalis. I represent the people of Oshodi Solo constituency, the heartbeat of Lagos. Mr. Speaker, I invoke Order 8-4 of the standing rules of the House of Representatives. It hinges on the actions of the Nigerian police and some other paramilitary agencies in Lagos that led to the death of a pregnant woman with the 2 children and a tricycle driver yesterday. Mr. Speaker, I invoke the order that the House suspend the rules in order to accommodate this matter of urgent importance.
Thank you very much. Any seconder to that motion moved by him? Yes, Honorable Ben. The first leg.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Fayinka Moses Oluwatoyin. I represent everyone in Muslim 2 Federal Constituency of Lagos State. I rise this morning to second the motion as moved by my colleague from Oshodi Solo. I so second.
Those in support that this motion is urgent, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Any seconder to the second leg that is urgent enough to be heard now? Yes, representative of the youth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Olamiju Onlo Ayodeji Alawakala. I represent the good people of Ogumosho North, South, Orire Federal Constituency. I hereby rise this afternoon to move the motion, to second the motion as moved by my honorable colleague. Thank you so much. I so by second.
Those in support that this motion is urgent enough to be heard now, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable, move ahead. With these 3 pages, we can't take that 3 pages. Just go to the important paragraph and go to your prayers, please. Thank you.
Thank you, the right Honorable Speaker and distinguished colleagues. Thank you for this privilege. Mr. Speaker, I bring before this esteemed House with great concern, one that touches the heart of us as representatives of the people. It is with heavy heart I address this August Assembly today on the urgent need to save the lives of the people in Oshodi Solo over the killing and unscriptural behavior of Nigerian police and some last-man men that led to the tragic death of 5 people, a pregnant woman and 2 children and a tricycle driver. The House knows that the mayhem unleashed on the residents of Agor Road and East Axis by police and last-man officials on Tuesday, 3rd of October 2023, that led to the death of 5 persons, a pregnant woman and the 2 children and a taxi driver, have brought constant fear and anguish to our people. And this has created uncertainty and insecurity since yesterday. Informed that these officers were paid to protect the life of our people, but out of avarice and greed had led to the death of these Nigerians. The police officers and them were dragging the steering of a moving vehicle with the driver, and in the process, the vehicle lost control and got the Nigerians killed. Worried that the report from my constituency painted a harrowing picture of a community of Nigerians with police brutality and extrajudicial killing yesterday, it is our duty as a representative of the people to protect and stand by their people. Mr. Speaker, I therefore move this honorable House, 1, to condemn in strongest terms this killing and further unscriptural behavior of the Nigerian police and men of last month. 2, to call on the Inspector General of Police to launch an immediate and thorough investigation into this mayhem and ensure that the police officers responsible are brought to book within 14 days. 3, to urge the relevant security agencies to provide adequate security measures in our constituency. 5th, in place of 1 minute silence, Mr. Speaker, I urge this House to send 4 distinguished members to Ocho de Solo to commiserate with the family of the deceased and equally meet the Speaker of the Lagos House of Assembly as a mark of respect and solidarity to show Nigerians that the life of every Nigerian is of great importance. The essence of this last paragraph is because the officers involved is a combination of the federal government agency and the state government. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, gentlemen, for this one.
Thank you. Any seconder to this? Honorable Chinedu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remain Right Honorable Comrade Chinedu Oga Owen, representing Ikwo-Ezasa Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, I'm from Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion, able moved by my colleagues, I hereby second.
Those in support, it's straightforward. It doesn't need any debate, but we frown at what happened in your constituency. We really frown on it. And your prayers are going to be voted on by the House. And we commiserate with the families that lost their dear ones. And we urge the police to find a way to stop this from happening. We have always advocated in this House that it is important to wear body cameras by police officers so that there will be the tracking of activities of the officers while on duty. That way they'll be more accountable and their services more transparent. It's really a painful thing to hear, but we urge the youth and the members of that committee, community in your constituency to remain calm because this is not a lawless society. The instruments of law will be employed to make sure that we'll find a lasting peace in your constituency. Let me ask, those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. There is no 1 minute silence. In place of 1 minute silence, he asked for a visit for the House to send about 4 members to commiserate with the family. So this particular motion is referred to Committee on Police and Legislative Compliance. Bring this up to bring it to my office. Yes, you are raising your hand.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague. I remain Representative Abbas Adigun, represent the good people of Ibadan Southeast, Ibadan Northeast Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I come under Order 8, Rule 5 of our standing order, personal explanation. As a matter of urgent national importance of a man who is so important to us in our nation and passed on during our recess. Who am I talking about?
Are you seeking the leave of the House to allow you to explain, or you've started explaining before seeking?
Yes, I'm seeking the permission from the House to allow me to.
The leave is hereby granted, but make it brief.
Okay. I also moved for the House to suspend our relevant rules to enable me to move this.
No, we are not suspending any rule. It's public. It's a personal explanation. Once they are given the floor to explain, you just go ahead and explain.
Okay.
There's no rule to be suspended. Go ahead. You are protected, my brother.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I can go and move my motion now, sir.
It's not a motion. It's a personal explanation.
I want to ask. I'm trying to explain that I should be allowed to move the Okay, so, Mr. Speaker, if we recall that Pam Taiwo Akinkunmi was born on the 10th of May 1936 in Ibadan and was the older of the set of the twins, and he hailed from Ogu in Abeokuta, Ogun State. Mr. Speaker, recount that in 1958, Nigeria was in the process of becoming an independent nation, and there was a need for national symbol that will represent the country's value and aspiration. The organizer of a competition for the design of a new flag also recount that numerous entry was that among the numerous entry was that Michael Taiwo.
Honorable colleague, I just got information that there is a motion to this effect, and I will urge you to step down the personal explanation and wait for that motion. The motion is coming up, and where you are going to be one of the sponsors of the motion is already listed. So let it come via motion, because it's an important issue, not as personal explanation. We will be taking it by tomorrow, so which is a better platform for you to adumbrate. Okay?
All right, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you for understanding. I really appreciate it.
No problem, sir.
Thank you, my brother.
You welcome.
Honorable colleagues, it's important to mention that at the end of the section today, about 25 of you who have shown interest to address Nigerians on our independence will be speaking. And you're going to be carried by the media houses. Some of you who spoke yesterday, Nigerians were able to listen to you, felt your heartbeat, understood where you are standing on national issues. Ensure that you are heard, and ensure that you articulate your points so that 2 minutes will be enough for you to express yourself. It is important that your constituents see you in this mood of celebrating our independence. We will do it today, we will do it tomorrow, and that will be the last day for our celebration of independence in our own way as Parliament. Honorable members, the first business of the day is presentation of 25 bills, and I invite the clerk to read their short titles.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2023, first reading. Mandatory inclusion of teachings on breast and cervical cancers into curriculum of all senior secondary schools in Nigeria Bill 2023, first reading. Mandatory inclusion of preventive measures and teachings of sexual gender-based violence into the curriculum of all levels of secondary schools in Nigeria Bill 2023, first reading. National Commission for Mass Literacy, Adult and Non-Formal Education Bill 2023, first reading. Teachers Registration Council Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Chartered Nigerian Institute for Industrial Security, first reading. Federal Institute of Technical and Vocational Education Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal Medical Center, Koi, Kaduna State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Ginger Research Institute, Samaru, Kataf, Kaduna State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Nutrition and Dietetics Registration Council of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. National Vocational Center Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Penal Code Northern State Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal University of Agriculture Act, Federal Universities of Agriculture Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal Medical Center National Assembly Abuja Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Civil Defense Corps Correctional Federal Fire and Immigration Services Board Bill 2023, first reading. Factoring Assignment and Receivables Financing Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Advisory Council on Religious Affairs Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Integrated Corporate Data Management Commission Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. National Youth Development Commission Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal Colleges of Entrepreneurship and Skill Acquisition Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. National Football Academy Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal College of Education, Uboha, Edo State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. National Institute of Agricultural Research, Oria, Edo State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, Amoji Nike, Enugu State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading.
The second business of the day is presentation of report of the ad hoc committee on the need to investigate the circumstances surrounding the acquisition of OVH Energy by NNPC Limited, on the need to investigate the irregularities and alleged corruption in the Nigerian energy security provider NNPC Retail Limited, and the acquisition of OVH Energy Marketing, standing in the name of Hassan Abubakar Nalaraba. Honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the committee on Thursday, 25th of July, 2023. The report is ready for presentation. Honorable Nalaraba is invited to present the report. Honorable Nalaraba, if you are here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Abubakar Hassan Nalaraba is my name. I represent the good people of Awedo, Makana Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, from National State. Mr. Speaker, that the House do receive the report of the ad hoc committee on the need to investigate the circumstances surrounding the acquisition of OVH Energy by NNPC Limited, and the need to investigate the irregularities alleged corruption in the Nigerian energy security provider. Mr. Speaker, I wish to seek the lead of the House to present my report. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to this motion? Yes, Honorable Oshoba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My distinguished colleagues, Olumide Oshoba representing Abeokuta North, Obafemi Ode, and Odeda Federal Constituency. arise to second the bill that is going to be presented, the report going to be presented by Honorable Abubakar Nalaraba. I so second.
Those in support of the motion that this report be laid now say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Nalaraba, please lay the report. The first order of the day is a motion on the need to address illegal violation of due process of federal character, lopsided recruitment by the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Nigerian Immigration Service and Federal Fire Service, standing in the name of Ali JC. Please, leader, move that this motion be stepped down.
Mr. Speaker, Professor Julius Ihonvere, ONDSSRS, I rise to move that this motion by Honorable Sir Ali JC be stepped down for now at his request. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder minority leader, please?
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the motion sponsored by Honorable Ali Sajesi be stepped down. I so second.
Those in support of this motion be stepped down, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The second order of the day is a motion on the need to reactivate the collapse of 33 by 11 kVA electric car line from Sokoto to Kware and Gwadabawa, Ilala Federal Constituency, Sokoto State, standing in the name of Honorable Bello Issa Ambarura. Honorable Musa is invited to move the motion. Honorable Musa is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I am Bello Issa Ambarura, member representing the good people of Gwadabawa and Ilela. Mr. Speaker, I am from Sokoto State. Mr. Speaker, once again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to present this precise and straightforward motion on behalf of my constituency. Mr. Speaker, the motion is on the need to reactivate the collapsed 33/11 kVA electrical line from Sokoto to Kware and Gwadabawa to Ilela Federal Constituency, Sokoto State. Mr. Speaker, the House knows that for the first 9.5 years, the Sokoto East Federal Constituency, consisting of 8 local governments, which Gwadabawa and Ilela included, have been in complete darkness. The House is aware that the present higher education facilities, which include African Stop Animal Farms, Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Kware, School of Health Technology, Gwadabawa, College of Agriculture, Wurno, and Zona Agricultural Farms, and commercial banks in Kware, operating under challenging circumstances without electricity supply. However, despite sharing an international border with the Niger Republic, and before requiring socio-economic development, but machinery, equipment, and facilities in the area are dilapidated completely as comes owing to lack of power supply. Cognizance of the House of the need to reactivate the 33/11 kVA electric line to rectify the situation from Sokoto, Kware, Gwadabawa, and Ilela Federal Constituency in Sokoto State. Mr. Speaker, if this House has no objection, I would like the House to urge the Federal Ministry of Power through the Transmission Company of Northern Nigeria, Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, to make provision for the activation of the collapsed and dilapidated 33
Honorable, are you moving according to the paper?
Of course, sir. It's a prayer number 1, sir.
Okay.
Yes, prayer number 1. That is prayer number 1.
Okay.
Yes. What I said is the House should urge the Federal Ministry of Power through the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, to make provision for the activation of the collapsed and dilapidated 33/11 kVA electrical line from Sokoto, Kwari, Gwadaba, and Ilela in Sokoto State in the 2024 budget estimate. And finally, mandate the committees on power and appropriations to ensure compliance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, distinguished colleagues.
Thank you, Honorable Member. For
Amendment, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. It has to be seconded first before the amendment. Who is seconding this motion? Yes, Honorable Nkwanta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my honorable colleagues. My name is Chris Nkwanta, and I represent the good people of Okwa East and West Federal Constituency. I rise this morning to second the motion ably moved by my honorable colleague. I so move. Thank you. I so second.
I always like it when motions are moved from the south and seconded in the north, moved from the north and seconded in the south. It means that what pains us in any part of the country is our concern, irrespective of the place we come from. There's an amendment that was... Yes, honorable colleague.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for recognizing me. Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Omar Yusuf Yabo, member representing Yabo Shagari Borough constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise this afternoon to amend the motion heavily moved by my colleague. Mr. Speaker, Yabo local government and Shagari local government are also facing the same issue of total blackout for the past 3 years. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I want this honorable House to accept my amendment to include from Sea Power to Yabo local government, from Yabo local government to Shagari local government, also from Yabo to Sanyina. I so move, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues.
Thank you. Any seconder to this motion?
Thank you.
To this amendment? Any seconder? Honorable Eze.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respected colleagues, I remain Honorable Eze Nwachukwu as representing the good people of Ebonyi-Ohuku Federal Constituency of Ebonyi State. I hereby second the motion as moved by my honorable colleague. The amendment.
Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, let's hear from you. Amendment. Straight to the point. Is that architect?
Yeah, good friend. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. I remain Architect Ibrahim Al-Mustafa Aliyu, member representing Wurno Raba Federal Constituency from Sokoto State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, from the body of the motion, you realize that the whole senatorial zone, comprising of 8 local governments, of which Raba and Wurno are included, have been without light for 9 years. Therefore, I so move that those local governments under the Sokoto East Senatorial District should be included in the prayer. I so move.
Any seconder to this motion? Yes, Honorable Isiaka, right?
Thank you very much. Our own quintessential speaker with substantial values. I'm Ibrahim Ayokole Isiaka. I represent the very good people of Ifoiwe Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from the fastest economic state in Nigeria. I'm from Ogun State. So proud of that. I rise, Mr. Speaker, to second the amendment as ably moved by Architect. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Those in support of this amendment as moved and seconded say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of the motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to Committees on Power and Appropriation once fully constituted. Honorable colleagues, the third order of the day is a motion on need to re-award the contract on the completion of Panyam Bakos Wamba Road, standing in the name of Honorable Ishaya David Lalo and the two other honorable members. Honorable Lalo is invited to move the motion. Honorable Lalo, if you are here.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I am by name Honorable Ishaya David Lalu, member representing Bokos, Maungu Federal Constituency of Plateau State. I rise to move a motion for the need to re-award the contract for the completion of Panyam Bokos Wamba Road. The House notes that the deplorable state of the Panyam Bokos Wamba Road, which has remained in a state of disrepair for more than 10 years, causing untold hardship to the people of the area. Also note that the contract for the construction of the road was awarded, but the project has been abandoned as the contractor failed to adhere to some terms and conditions of the contract. It's cognizant of the need to re-award the contract for the completion of the road project to a competent contractor who will complete the job within the stipulated deadline and up to the required standard. It also cognizant that the road, if completed, will ease the movement of goods from the area to other parts of the country, as it is the shortest route connecting the north central and northeast geopolitical zone of this country. The House resolved to urge the Federal Ministry of Works to immediately re-award the contract for the completion of the Panyam Bokos Wamba Road to a competent contractor and ensure that the project is completed within the stipulated contract duration and to require standard. The House also urged the Federal Ministry of Works to make adequate budgetary provisions for the Panyam Bokos Wamba Road in the 2024 budget estimate. And therefore, last, that the House should mandate the Committee on Works to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move. Thank you.
Any seconder to this motion? It has to be seconded first, gentlemen, before we can amend. The mover of that motion is from the north. I'm looking for somebody from the south to second it, and a woman. It has to be a woman. We must allow women's voice to be heard. Yes. Go ahead, madam. Yeah, go ahead. You.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Did you raise your hand, Khadija? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Blessing Chige Ramade, Port Harcourt Federal Constituency 2, River State. I stand to support the motion being moved by my colleague. I so second.
Thank you very much. Before we put the question, somebody wanted to make amendment. Yes, from the back.
Very much, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Isa Muhammad Anka, representing Anka Talata Mapara constituencies of Forest State. My amendment is on the prayer 1. I don't think it's in line with the Procurement Act. You reward without revoking. So the first prayer is there should be immediate revocation and the re-awarding of the contract to the competent contractor. I so move, sir. Thank you very much. So can I read the amendment?
Please, I need to hear you clearly. Which one is not in line with the Procurement Act?
Prayer 1. That what I'm saying is that you cannot award without revoking. So the prayer 1 should read that the Federal Ministry of Works to revoke the contract in line with the due process and re-award same for the competent for the completion of the contract within the stipulated completion period.
I think that makes sense.
Thank you very
Because in
much.
line with the Procurement Act, you can't re-award if the other one is existing. So you have to revoke and then award. Any seconder to that amendment? The chief in front.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I remain Chief Dr. Billy Famous Adesuwa Sawaru, representing the good people of Orionwa Nwode Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I remain the proud Benin Chief from Edo State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the amendment ably moved by my colleague. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so second.
Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, amendment. Go ahead.
Thank you once more, Mr. Speaker. I still remain Honorable Avia Musa Aga. I represent Bassa Jos North Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I'm proudly from Plateau State. I rise to propose an amendment to the motion ably moved by my brother and colleague from Plateau. That for those of us flying Akwanga to Jos, and from Jos to Bauchi and other parts of the north.
What is your amendment?
I amend or propose for an amendment that the dilapidated and deplorable nature of the Akwanga Jos route and Jos to Bauchi should be included as part of the prayers. I so propose, Mr. Speaker.
So include it. Which prayer number?
It should be prayer number 3.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any seconder to that? Yes. Were you saying Bauchi, Axis? The road you are describing?
From just Bauchi and other part of the northeastern states.
Is that part of the contract we want to revoke and re-award? Because there are specifics in that contract. And the specifics include the name of the road.
I was just taking advantage of the fact that I stand protected, please.
No, you are protected. You are protected.
I stand protected, please.
You are protected. I know you love your people and you want to bring in their own needs
I was
there.
just taking advantage of
Yeah, but I think there's a better way to bring it so that it will have more teeth. You
Yes.
come via emotion,
Oh, it's okay.
so that we can listen to your concerns, so that you have more time
Thank you very
to
much, Mr.
discuss
Speaker.
that.
Thank you very
Is
much,
that okay?
Mr. Speaker.
All right. Amendment, please.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am Honorable Architect Mohammed Mukhtar Zannan Kazauri, Honorable Member representing Kazauri Roni Gwiwa Enkwashi Federal Constituency. I'm from Jigawa State. My amendment, Mr. Speaker, is on on the issue of my other colleague who raised the issue of revoking the contract. We should constitute maybe an inquiry to know the status of the project, why that project has been abandoned, not just revoking the contract. Maybe there is lack of funds or so. So you cannot just suggest to revoke the contract while you've not known the causes of the abandonment. It may be insecurity, it may be any other thing. So we should delegate or make an inquiry to know that before we'll be able to conclude on the amendment from my honorable colleague. That's my amendment.
Beautiful,
thank you.
Beautiful amendment.
Because it may violate the conditions of the contract with the revocation. So let's check and see.
I think I totally agree with this your position.
So I so move on my amendment, sir.
Okay. So you are moving that this should be the status of inquiry. Should be given to allow for the Committee on Works.
Yes.
That we're going to refer it, and I'm happy he's sitting in front of you. The chairman is sitting in front of you. So the Committee of Work, in their terms of reference, want is to check the state of affairs on that particular road, be able to know what happened before taking the final decision. Any seconder to that motion? Yes, Shagaya.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Mukhtar Tolani Shagaya, representing the good people of Ilorin West, Asa Federal Constituency. I'm from the State of Harmony, Kwara State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the amendment as moved by my colleague. I so amend.
The beautiful motion, I must say that's a beautiful motion. I mean, presence of mind. Unlike legislators, when they have presence of mind while conversations are going on, and you have directed the House well. I really appreciate you, Honorable Member, for that amendment. And it has been well seconded. I think before I put a question to that particular amendment that been moved and seconded, there's a right of reply that will be granted to Honorable Lalu. Honorable Lalu had something to say about the revocation and the re-award. Honorable Lalu, please, your right of reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues. It is good that my honorable colleagues have interest in this and they make a wonderful amendment or contribution to this effect. The contracts details, we didn't put it into this because it will make it so bogus. But the contract has been revoked since 2012. But it has not been rewarded. And that is why we just go straight to the point for the issue of the re-award of the contract. And most times they talk about challenges of funding and budgetary allocation. And that was why one of the prayers we said, let it be captured in 2024 appropriation estimate. Thank you, my honorable colleague. And so much.
All right, thank you. I think we should leave this for the Committee on Works. Let them find out the state of affairs on that particular contract. If it had been revoked, because your prayer says revoke an award as amended here. So if it's been revoked, then they will ask for re-awarding. If it has not been revoked, they will look into it. So let's leave the House Committee on Works to go the whole 9 years in handling this. But I was thinking that when we were talking about re-awarding, that your prayer is supposed to have included appropriation committee, not just works. Because if you are re-awarding, you can't throw it down from the sky. So appropriation committee should be part of the committee that will look into this. Would you want to amend one of the prayer to include the appropriation committee? Please move it so that we can move on.
Speaker and honorable colleagues, I wish to amend the prayer of this my motion that the House should resolve to mandate the Committee on Appropriation to ensure provisions of adequate funding in 2024 appropriation estimate. I so move. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Any seconder to this, that the appropriation committee be added to this, because the re-awarding element of the prayers must not come from any other source but the Committee on Appropriation. Honorable David, second.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Ogel David Agada, member representing Oju of the Federal Constituency, Benue State. I rise to second the amendment as amended by my honorable colleagues. I also second.
Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those is another amendment. Let's not water down this.
Yes, sir.
This will be the last amendment, please.
If the House can recall, there was a decision for the contract to be revoked and re-awarded. So as our procedure demands, there is a need for House to rescind her decision on that particular prayer so that it will not bastardize the prayers of the motion. So there is a need for a motion.
You are right.
On the floor. Yes, sir.
You are right. Good that you pointed it out. Who moved for that? No, we are leaving the revoking and re-awarding for the Committee on Works to handle. They will find out the status of affairs, state of affairs, to know whether it has been revoked really, or if it's not revoked, before going to. No, that is his word, but yes. That is their terms of reference. They will have more document to look into. So let's leave it for works. Let's leave it as it is.
It's okay, sir.
We are in order. I think we have amended enough. Those in support of this motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Before I refer this particular motion to the relevant committee, I wish to make a statement that this motion by Honorable Lalu, for me, is quite germane, and however, the issue of road infrastructure goes beyond Plateau State. It is a nationwide problem. And the House previously passed the Federal Road Fund Bill. This deals with alternative funding mechanisms. Therefore, the 10th Assembly I'm hoping that the Committee of Works and chairman of that committee will drive this, and that this 10th Assembly will partner fully with the executive to find solutions to this, because this is the elephant in the room, lack of funding. So let's find alternative sources of fund that will help us get this done. This particular motion is referred to Committee on Work and Appropriation once fully constituted. Honorable colleagues, the fourth order of the day is a motion on the need to prioritize the implementation or prioritize and implement the provisions of the Mental Health Law 2021 to tackle suicide and suicidality in Nigeria, standing in the name of Honorable Uchenna Clement Nwachukwu Elodimuo. Honorable Nwachukwu is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Uchenna Clement Nwachukwu Elodimuo. I represent the good people of Nnewi North, Nnewi South, and Ekusigo Federal Constituency, Anambra State. And I rise to move this motion on the need to prioritize and implement the provisions of the Mental Health Law 2021 to tackle suicide and suicidality in Nigeria. The House notes that the responsibility of the government is to protect and safeguard the lives of Nigerians as outlined by the Section 14(2)(b) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, provides that the security, safety, and welfare of the people of Nigeria shall be primary purpose of the government. The House also notes that on the 12th July 2023, a teenager took her life after being raped in Oyo State. One out of many cases of suicide underreported and most unreported in Nigeria due to social stigmatization. Recalls that this day newspaper reported an alarming rise in suicide deaths between 2022 and March 2023. It emphasizes that suicide is seen as a taboo in most parts of the country and hidden by families due to cultural factors. Concerned that the fresh cases of suicide as published in the print media have a greater proportion of youth as victims. In January 2023, Joseph Olona, a 300-level student of Federal University of Technology, Akure, and 50-year-old Ojo Ogundeji, both committed suicide on January 14th and 23 respectively. Worried that the risk factor for suicide, such as mental health condition, substance use, access to legal means, prolonged stress, unemployment, financial crisis, child abuse and neglect pose huge threats to Nigerians. Disturbed that there has not been adequate sensitization of the provisions of the Act and guidelines on how people struggling with mental health problems can receive help. Cognizant that awareness campaigns should reduce stigma and ensure the acceptability of the regulations to protect and the dignity of people struggling with mental health. And I pray that the House resolve to urge the Federal Ministry of Health and collaborate with relevant health institutions to ensure that research on mental health is put into practice to ensure evidence-based care to Nigerian citizens. Mandate the House Committee on Health Services to evaluate the implementation of the content of the Mental Health Act and conduct the need assessment of the full implementation of the Act. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
It needs a second. Second, Kabiru.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, Kabir Ahmadu Palace is my name. I represent the entire people of Gusau's Abbey Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Zamfara State. I rise to second a motion heavily moved by a dear colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Okay, it's been seconded. Amendment, right? Okay. Chinedu Martins. Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respected colleagues, my name is Honorable Emeka Chinedu. I represent the good people of Ahia Zumbise in the Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Imo State. Mr. Speaker, this motion is very, very important. It's dear to me. I'm passionate about it. So I would like to add a third amendment based on the motion. The third amendment should read that urge the Federal Ministry of Health in conjunction with National Orientation Agency to establish a national counseling center where people with mental health can receive mental counseling or any other issues pertaining to mental health. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to this amendment? Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Mudashiru Lukman, representing the good people of Iwo Ayidire Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Osho State. I rise to second an amendment ably moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this amendment as moved and seconded say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, Okonkwo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Uchenna Harris Okonkwo, member representing Idemili North and South Federal Constituency. I am from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, this motion is very, very critical to livelihoods of our people, especially my people in Idemili North and South. I would like to amend as well, in addition to the prayers, that the Committee on Health Institution to liaise with relevant institutions, preferably the Ministry of Works, on establishing mental health rehabilitation centers within the primary health care centers within our various constituencies.
Ministry of Works?
Preferably Ministry of Works. I would just say the suggestion, as a suggestion to, yes, to establish mental health rehabilitation centers within our primary health care centers in the various constituencies.
I don't think it's within the core mandate of Ministry of Works to go into health-related issues.
The Ministry of Health. If it's the Ministry of Health, that would be apt, sir.
Yeah, that is why when we refer it to healthcare services, is one of the things they should look into. So you are asking for the Department of Mental Health,
yes,
to be in all the primary health centers.
To be all primary health centers within across the country. I so amend.
To find out whether mental health falls under primary health issues or tertiary health issues. There are ones that can be handled at the primary health centers, and there are issues that will go to the other teaching hospitals or general hospitals. But I think it's better for us to leave it for Healthcare Services Committee as well as health institutions okay, to look into the possibility of having more healthcare institutions and more mental care departments around our various constituencies.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. That's why I had mentioned earlier that the Committee on Health Institutions to liaise with the relevant institutions that can...
Don't worry, we are trying to see how we can help you achieve what you want to achieve through this amendment. Leader, you wanted to say something, please?
Mr. Speaker, I'm Professor Julius Honville. I think we are avoiding the real issue. I agree with the motion. I support it. I think we do need more institutions to deal with this question. But we're avoiding the real issue. The motion is very clear about the role of stress, financial crisis, unemployment, hunger, and anger that go together. There is nothing in the prayer to address those issues. Crazy people are everywhere, but some of them, if you talk to them, you know they are not crazy. You know they are quite normal, but they be frustrated with mounting responsibilities in our system. No road, no water, no lights, no job for children who have graduated, no security on the highway. I can't enter my constituency now because there's no road. So that's enough to make me begin to behave funny. So we should put a prayer.
So what is your prayer, leader? No, that would be outside the scope of this motion.
No. I think for the prayer, I would suggest that it should also be urge the government and relevant stakeholders to design mechanisms to deal with those socio-economic dimensions that encourage the tendency to mental stress. You know, it's broad, but that has had to be. Thank you, sir.
That is a sociological approach to the issue. But today we are going to look at how to take care of those who are having the issues as it is and as proposed by the motion. You know, Nigeria, we cannot solve all our problems at once. And it's not only in Nigeria. The same thing is happening all over the world. Many are still trying to recover. We will be making efforts, policies of government, we are monitoring, oversighting to make sure that they are people-centered, people-oriented policies that will help us reduce the impact of the absence of such basic needs of our people. I wouldn't say the government is not trying. All I will say is that we will oversight them more to make sure that whatever they preach is what they practice. I mean, as the executive. But for today, we are looking at mental issue. We are looking at how we can do something about it to curb suicide that is happening due to this mental issue. So, any amendment, last amendment on this? Okay, let's put the question. Those in support of this motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Before I refer this to the relevant committee, it is important that we should critically look at the pressing issue of suicide and mental health as a nation. Therefore, we should critically examine the punitive law as outlined in our own law. When you look at section 327 of the Criminal Code, which criminalizes attempts to commit suicide. And the purpose of looking at that critically is to discover whether that law in itself is counterproductive or not. It's one of the things we should look at, because the punitive measure that is found in that section 327 should be a concern, whether it is activating or suppressing the attempt to commit suicide. Those in support of this motion as amended have said yes to it. So I refer this motion to Committee on Health Services and Health Institutions. Honorable colleagues, the fifth order of the day is a motion on the need to address the worsening insecurity in Dandume local government area and its environment in Funtua, Dandume Federal Constituency of Katsina State, starting in the name of Honorable Abubakar Ahmed Mohammed. Honorable Mohammed is invited to move the motion.
Thank you very much.
Please make it as brief as possible.
Honorable Speaker, distinguished honorable members, my name is Abubakar Ahmed Mohammed, member representing Funtua Dandume Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Katsina State. I stand this afternoon to move a motion on the need to address the worsening insecurity in Dandume local government area and its environs in Funtua Dandume Federal Constituency of Katsina State. We have noted that the state of insecurity in Dandume local government area and its environs has assumed a worrisome dimension. Also note that the said local government area become a haven for bandits, armed robbers, kidnappers, cattle rustlers, and all other types of criminal elements in recent times. Aware of the recurring insecurity challenges in the area has led to the loss of lives, kidnapping, and the disposition of properties owned by the local has assumed an alarming stage. Concerned that many rural dwellers have been displaced on account of these onslaughts, while agricultural activities has been paralyzed, leading to economic loss to Katsina State and the nation at large. Worried that the number of out-of-school children has significantly increased as schools are frequently attacked and students kidnapped, thus creating fear among parents who prefer their children to stay at home. At worried that several villagers in the local government now live in fear due to displacement of their valuable properties worth hundreds of millions naira. Cognizance of the need for immediate government intervention to curb insecurity in the area and provide lasting solution to the problem, the House resolved to urge the Chief of Army Staff and the Inspector General of Police to deploy more security personnel to intensify the security architecture in the Dandume local government area. Also urge the Chief of Army Staff to establish an operational unit for rapid response in the area. Further, urge the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to provide relief material to the affected communities within the local government area. And lastly, mandate the communities on Committee on Army, Police, and Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance when constituted. I so moved.
Any seconder to this? Today I'm doing if you are proposing from the north, it must be supported by somebody from the south. The communicator.
Mr. Speaker and dear colleagues, my name is Honorable Karl Lejaya Deboye Paul. I represent the good people of Ajeromi Felodun Federal Constituency, the mini Nigeria. I'm from Lagos State, the state of aquatic splendor. I rise to second the motion, ably moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you.
I really think it's a straightforward motion. Those in support?
Amendment, sir.
Amendment?
Yes.
Yes, let me hear from you.
In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most gracious, the most merciful. Mr. Speaker, sir, my highly respected colleague. Amendment number 1. Sir, what is happening? My name is Aminu Balela Kurfi, representing the gentle and patriotic peoples of Dusama and Kurfi Federal Constituency. Sir, on the issue of amendment number 1, Kurfi Dusama and the whole of Funtua zone is supposed to be included, because what is happening now, as at now, there is bandit inside Federal University Dusama, whereby they abduct 5 female students. Out of these 5 female students, 3 are from Kano, 2 are from Nasarawa. The most serious issue is 2 are in final year students. Also, in the fray, we need quick intervention of IG, at least if it is possible to send minimum of 3 to 5 armored personnel carrier.
Is that the amendment?
We need APCs.
I want, you are protected, don't mind them. All I'm saying is, I want a single line for the amendment we are putting in the books.
We need 5 armored personnel carrier in Dusama and Kurfi Federal Constituency, if it is possible today, sir.
You know, if you do that, it means they are doing the work of the military. They know how to do the analysis and they know the strategy they can use. So if you now propose 5 armored tank,
minimum,
the people who are fighting us might go and get 10 and match us. So the parliament will not come here and be so specific with military strategy, especially when it concerns the issue of security. So we will find a way to incorporate your interest and that motion when it is referred to the committee. But we cannot say that openly, that we are having 2 armored tank or 5 armored tank. That is exposing our military strategy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. But we will incorporate your interest in the motion.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. On the same motion, yeah, let's hear you. Go ahead, you. Not you, Nkwanta, not you. Yeah. No, not. He has already. Yeah, go ahead, Honorable.
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to contribute in this motion. Being the newest member of the House of Representatives, just sworn in on the 26th September 2023. My amendments are the issue of insecurity in Katsina State is a very serious issue. We have 22 local governments out of 34 that are affected seriously with this insecurity. Instead of restricting the motion to Funtua, Dandeme, Dusama Kurpi, let's extend the prayers to cover 22 local governments out of 34 in Katsina State.
it is official that these 22 local governments in Katsina State are the highest insecure local government areas.
So what is the amendment?
The amendment is to include the remaining 21 local governments, because even this morning, as he said, 5 female students were kidnapped in Federal University Dusama, and day before yesterday, council leader of Funtua local government has been killed. So I think there is need to.
You want us to expand it to include the other 21 local government?
Yes.
Okay.
That's 22 local government.
Oh, this is a
and
very.
The prayer can be summarized because what he is praying is to have deployment of more personnel, establish more operational units, and then relief materials. So we can have the prayer to be one. Deploy more security personnel, provide operational units, and then provide relief materials for the communities. Thank you.
I think that is also in line with what Honorable Aminu Malele was saying. I think the seriousness of the issue there is making some of you who are patriotic citizens and leaders of your area to show concern. And I really appreciate the fact that...
Mr. Speaker.
Please don't put on your mic until you are recognized. I appreciate your contributions. It only shows that you need more to be done there. So the summary of what Honorable Aminu Malele was trying to say is that increase more units, add more security facilities that will help us curb the issues there. And you are saying expand it to include more local government. So I think, Honorable Aminu, that was what you were trying to say before. Yes, that we'll put more security facilities around there. Any seconder to that amendment? Yes, sir, behind.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Aminu Jamodora, representing the Oras and the Pyramid. Second the amendment and the bill as passed. Thank you so much.
Those in support of this amendment say aye. You know there are two amendments there. The one from Honorable Aminu Malele and the one from the last speaker. And this first call is for the first one, for Aminu, who says more facility. Those in support of that say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of the amendment moved by honorable colleague beside him say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Don't water this motion down. It's enough. Those in support of the motion as amended say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Before I refer this, let me mention this. The security and welfare of all Nigerian citizens should not be taken for granted. All necessary efforts must be taken to address this issue, especially as it concerns the insecurity situation that is not peculiar to Katsina State, but as an increasing pervasive problem nationwide, including Southeast, where I come from. It goes around the whole country. It should not be taken for granted. This motion is referred to committees on army, committees on police, committees on legislative compliance, once fully constituted. Honorable colleagues, the sixth order of the day is a motion on the need to increase monthly allowance of National Youth Corps members to reflect the current economic reality of the nation. This motion is standing in the name of Honorable Odwak Odudoa. Honorable Odudoa is invited to move the motion if it's in the House.
Mr. Speaker, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, leadership, my colleagues. Mr. Speaker, My name is Sudwak Alfonso Sodudo. I represent the good people of Ikot Abasi, Pateni, and East Noble Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State. And I rise this afternoon to move a motion on the need to increase the monthly allowance of National Youth Corps members to reflect the current economic reality of the nation. Mr. Speaker, the House notes that the National Youth Service Corps, otherwise known as NYAC, is the only federal government scheme that offers young Nigerian graduates an insight to the nation's strength of diversity by posting corps members outside their state of origin to other parts of Nigeria. The House is aware that the corps members, through Community Development Service, otherwise known as CDS, have contributed immensely to the development of their host communities and Nigeria at large. The House is concerned that, irrespective of the harsh economic situation in Nigeria, particularly arising from the fuel subsidy removal, among other government economic policies, corps members are still expected to report regularly to their respective deployment throughout the period of their service year. The House is worried that the meager 33,000 naira monthly allowance currently being paid to corps members is insufficient to sustain their basic needs, as well as transportation to their places of deployment, among other necessary expenditures. The House resolved to, one, urge the federal government to increase the monthly allowance of corps members to a reasonable sum that can sustain their current cost of living in the country. The House also resolved to urge the federal government to increase funding allocation to the NYSC scheme in the 2024 budget estimates. Mandate the Committee on Youth Development and Legislative Compliance for compliance. Mr. Speaker, I so move. Thank you.
Yeah, Honorable, beautiful motion, I must say, because the truth remains the people who are doing NYSC, they really need this intervention. But we have an issue that in this particular section, a similar motion has been moved and a resolution was given. And the House cannot, within one section, pass two resolutions on one issue. So I will ask you humbly to step down for today. The Secretariat will inform us by tomorrow, because I requested for the House motion number so that we can tally the prayers and know through a comparative analysis whether they are differentiated or if they are same. If they are same, we allow the first in time to prevail. If they are differentiated, we'll find a way to lift the issues you are raising in your prayers. If that is okay with you, you can rise up to step down your motion.
Rise.
Can you rise and step down your motion, please?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. By your leave and directive, I hereby rise to step down this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. You are a worthy parliamentarian. That is the spirit of the parliament. We don't resolve on top of our resolution. And when your attention is called to it, you respect the decision of the chair. Thank you very much, Honorable. But that is not without saying that the need to increase monthly allowance of National Youth Corps members to reflect the current economic reality raised by him is not an important issue. But we don't want to resolve twice. So motion is hereby stepped down on the leave of the House and as proposed by the sponsor of the motion. Honorable colleagues, the seventh order of the day is a motion on a call on the President to revisit the Orasanya report. And this is standing in the name of Honorable Alex Ebona. And Honorable Alex Ebona is invited to move the motion if he's in the House. Please, leader, move that this motion be stepped down in the absence of Honorable Alex Ebona. And clerk, list other motions before you list this one again. Don't bring it up immediately. Let the first in time prevail. When you list your motion, you must come here and present it, because when we give you opportunity to list your motion, you are stopping other people from listing theirs. All right? Leader, please move.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Professor Julius Ihonvere, ON DSSRS, on one federal constituency. Given the absence of Right Honorable Alex Ebona, I move that his motion on the call of the President to revisit the Orasanya report be stepped down.
Thank you, Leader of the House. Minority Leader, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion that the House grants leave for the motion of Honorable Alex to be stepped down. Those
in support of the motion be stepped down, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, the eighth order of the day is a motion on the need to grant license to Niger State government as a mineral buying center. Standing in the name of Honorable Joshua Audu Ghana, Honorable Ghana is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Joshua Audu Ghana, member representing the good people of Lavon, Mokwa, Edati Federal Constituency. Okay. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Niger State. I rise to move the motion on the need to grant Niger State government as a mineral buying center. The House notes in Section 95 of the Nigerian Minerals and Mining Act provides for the establishment of mineral buying centers to serve as standardization centers to enable artisanal and small miners, cooperatives, and operators to receive fair premiums for their labor as they concentrate on production. The House also notes by Section 96 of the Act and Regulation 232 of the Nigerian Mineral and Mining Regulation 2011, the Minister of Mines and Steel Development and the Mining Cadastral Officer are to determine the qualification for entities to register as mineral buying centers. The House further notes that as provided by the Act and Regulation, one of the criteria for registration as a buying center is that the entity seeking registration must register with the Corporate Affairs Commission. The House is aware that the federal government in 2016 stated that it had started seeding buying centers to state governments in a bid to reduce friction between the two tiers of government on mining activities. The House is aware that Niger State is heavily endowed with natural resources in different locations as follows. Because of want of time, I'll just mention the minerals stated here and go to the prayers. Niger State is blessed with gold, clay, silica and sand, hyenites, marble,
copper, iron, feldspar, and lead, kaolin, calcitrite, columbite, tantalite, and limestone. The House resolves to urge the Mining Cadastral Office under the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development to grant a license to Niger State government as a mineral buying center due to the presence of minerals in the state. Invite also the Director General of the Mining Cadastral Office to brief the Committee on Commerce on the numbers of licensed buying centers, including a list of similar licenses previously issued to state governments. Also to mandate the Committee on Solid Minerals Development to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Who is raising point of order? Okay, Honorable Gariwe.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my very respected colleagues. Mr. Speaker, my name is Right Honorable Gariwe Iduma Enwu. I represent the good people of Afikpo and Eda Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Gariwe, speak to the mic so that we can hear you clearly.
Mr. Speaker, I am constrained to make a constitutional point of order. And my order is Section 5, subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution as variously amended. Mr. Speaker, this Parliament, as powerful as we may be, we lack the virus to make laws for the state. Mr. Speaker, if we take this motion, what it means is that we will be making law for Niger State. And I think that is the exclusive preserve of the Niger State House of Assembly. We cannot stay here and impose a license, for instance, on Niger State. So I will wish by my submission, Mr. Speaker, if it is granted, to ask that we do not make laws that we cannot enforce. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. I'm going to allow a ventilation of this particular conversation because it borders on points of law, the Constitution, and understanding the parameters of the arms of government, and also the levels of government, federal, state, and local government. And also, it has a little rub-off on the exclusive, concurrent, residual list of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, an interplay of all these will guide us in knowing how to direct this conversation. Leader of the House, you raise your hand. Let's hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Julius Ihonvere. I just want to add a footnote to the points made by Honorable Gariwe. By our laws, all minerals beneath and above the surface of the territory of Nigeria belong to the federal government. In fact, when Chief Kanu Agabi SAN was Minister of Solid Minerals, he directed all states to dismantle their ministries of solid minerals, that they have no business with it, but they did it. Okay. The cadastral office would issue a license to any entity, even according to the motion, that applies. So what the state needs to do is to set up a company, apply for the license, and begin to work. Mr. Speaker, as a former chairman of the Bitumen Project Implementation Committee of the Presidency, when the Bitumen blocks were going to be allocated. What many states did was to come together and form one company, apart from Lagos that formed one. And they applied via that entity. So as Honorable Garraway has stated, we can't make law for the states. But the thing is, what the honorable member should tell the state governor is set up a company, approach the cadastral office, apply for a license which will be granted, and they can mine as much as they want, paying royalties as required. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to make this minor clarification.
This is, we're going to allow people to talk about this. Let me listen to one of our senior parliamentarians, Honorable Sada Soli.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Sada Soli, representing Jibia Kaita Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Katsina State. Mr. Speaker, let me just call the attention of my friend, Honorable Igarwe. With the input of this motion, this House is not making a law for Niger State. This House is just appealing, urging, expressing an opinion to the issuing authorities to consider an entity of Niger State government for this mineral buying center. So I don't think this House is making a law for Niger State. So it does not contravene Section 5, subsection 2 of the Constitution. I think we should take note of that. A motion does not make a law. A motion does not stand in any way of a position of a law in this country. It's an opinion of the Parliament expressing on an issue. But be as it may, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, my question to the mover of this motion is, did Niger State made any effort to apply for a buying license and it was denied? Could that be the reason for this motion? Because we need to have all the issues available for a parliament to make an appeal for the issuing authorities to consider Niger State. Because in section 96 of the Act, which says they determine, the minister and the mining cadastral officer, they determine the qualification for entities. So we don't know whether Niger State formed an entity that applied for this center and it was denied. Maybe, probably he needs to.
Okay, it's enough. Honorable colleague, you'll be raising your hand from the back. Let's hear you, and then Honorable Jimmy. No, you, yeah, go ahead. Not Isiaka. Okay, Isiaka, we'll see hear you. Don't worry, we'll hear from here and we'll hear from there. Okay? Maybe two from here. Go ahead, but make it 1 minute, 2 minutes, please. Straight to the point.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Boyega Isiaka, Egbado North, Imekwa for Federal Constituency. Well, my first point really is what the last speaker said, that I also don't think that we are making a law for Niger State here. We're just applying, they're just making a case for them. But I also think that the second resolution there to invite the DG to come and brief on who they have given license to, I do not know what is the importance of that to this motion, except of course there are other undercurrents that we are now aware of, which what the last speaker was asking about. Here is Niger State. They are making a case for for an agency which I believe they want to set up. What is the essence of that? It's now asking that they should come and tell us who are the other people that have been given licenses and all of that. I do not see the relevance of that in this motion.
Thank you very much. Beautiful deliberations going on. Let me hear from you, Honorable Jimmy Benson, and then Isiaka. You have a right of reply, Honorable Garibald. Later, after here, you can go here.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. I remain Baba Jimmy Benson. I represent the very good people of Ikorodu Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I want to align my thoughts again with Honorable Sada Soli. I believe that this motion does not in any way, shape, or form impugn on the powers of the federal government of Nigeria. I want to draw your specific attention, sir, to Prayer 1, which talks about a grant. It says that the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development urging the Mining Cadastral Office under the Federal Minister of Mines to grant a license. A grant is a discretion. So the request must come. The office, if indeed it believes that the request meets the relevant eligibility, will grant. So the authority still lies with the federal government agency. I would also draw your attention, sir, to further notes that one of the criteria for registration as a buying center is that the entity seeking registration must register with the Corporate Affairs Commission. Corporate Affairs Commission is the exclusive preserve. It's in the exclusive list. So it is also a requirement that a permit must be granted by CAC. And furthermore, the entity that grants the license is also domiciled in the federal government of Nigeria.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Isiaka. Move to another seat. We can see. The mic is on behind you.
Once again, our own quintessential speaker with substantial values. I'm Honorable Ibrahim Ayokunle Isiaka, representing for Iwekoro Federal Constituency. I'm from Ogun State. Mr. Speaker, with due respect to my honorable colleague that brought this motion, I want to appeal that the House should be on the side of caution, except if our resolutions and directions here are mere advisory or talking. Directing means we have passed the resolution if it is adopted, which means we are telling them they must do it, whether what the state is applying for is right or wrong. So we are pushing them. That is number one, Mr. Speaker. Number two, if you check the Nigerian Minerals and Mining Act of 2007, the National Minerals and Metals Policy of 2008, and the Nigerian Minerals and Mining Regulations of 2011, there are specific procedures which are incompatible that any organization must follow. And I want to align with what Honorable Sarasoli said, and that the state should go and follow the normal procedure for obtaining licenses, and not the House directing the cadastral office to issue licenses to the states. I so submit, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We are moving to this side, and the minority leader will be the first to speak here. Minority leader, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. Kingsley Chinda,
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, first to respond to our colleague Igariwe, I think that this motion is in order. If we look at the second schedule to the Constitution, particularly item 39, mines and mineral is under the exclusive list. And so we have powers to make laws on mines and minerals, and so we can also deliberate and arrive at resolutions concerning mines and minerals. But my problem with the motion is the first prayer, which has to do with issues of policy formation that lies with the executive arm of government, conditions for registration and grant of license. It's not within our powers. And so I don't think it will be proper for us to resolve to say that you should grant license to A or B. It is only where there is a complaint from A that I have applied and I am not granted a license and I think I am treated unfairly that we can come in to look at the conditions and then arrive at a resolution. So I will urge that the mover of the motion perhaps looks at the first prayer again and then either amends or withdraws that and allows the House to proceed. My opinion, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Gaza.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for yielding the floor. My name is Gaza Jonathan Befi, and I represent people of Karu-Kefi, Kokona Federal Constituency from Nasarawa State, and I happen to chair the Committee on Solid Minerals. Let me thank the mover of the motion for bringing up this motion at this time. Especially at a time when in our nation we're beclouded by executive orders from state governors with regards to mining, thereby having some form of friction between the states and the federal government. One. Number two, Mr. Speaker, we must bring about the distinction between manager, administrator, and regulator. When we go back to the Act of 2007, let me read two sections. Section 96, as quoted by this motion, the requirements for registration as a buying center shall be in accordance with this Act. Now, what does the explanatory note of this Act say? Explanatory memorandum, and it reads, this Act creates a distinct role for the private sector as operator and owner of mineral resources in accordance with the provisions of this Act, and a role for the government as the regulator of all matters relating to the recognizance, exploration, exploitation, beneficiation, which is processing, retention, transportation, transformation, sale, marketing, and other related purposes of mineral resources in Nigeria. What does this Act say in essence in relation to this motion? This motion wants the government to create a function which is supposed to be for the private sector, thereby relying on what the leader said. If Niger State wants to take part in the mineral sector, what they should do is go by karma, like Honorable Jimmy said, and create a private limited liability company, just to support what Honorable Sada Soli said, and apply. We cannot direct, just as lawyers say, you cannot be given what you did not plead for. We do not know whether Niger State applied and were not given. So they have to create a private sector vehicle which will be used to then apply based on the law. And the second part, with regards to the issues between executive orders, let me use this opportunity to say, there are ample opportunities through already established legal frameworks in the 2007 Act, which the state governors can rely on, like Miremco and other things. And as a matter of fact, the committee has put together a legislative agenda which we're going to present to this House and the world to take care of such gray areas. and fine-tune the solid mineral sector. Thank you very much. That's my...
Thank you. You have already shown that you work in that particular sector. Let me give the right of reply to Honorable Gariwe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, a very short one. Mr. Speaker, what is in issue, so that we don't deviate or misfire, is whether this House has the power to procure a license for a state government. Mr. Speaker, it is like saying that we can sit here and procure a loan for a state government without the state government on its own asking for a loan. In this case, the Niger state government has not made any attempt. We are not aware they have made any attempt, and we cannot anticipate. Our rules frown against anticipation. We can't sit here and anticipate whether they have made or are going to make. Mr. Speaker, the clear thing here, you know, I premised my objection on section 5, subsection 2. It has nothing to do with the Mining Act. We are talking about a constitutional provision which the Supreme Court has pronounced upon. Mr. Speaker, the purport of section 5.2 of the Constitution is that neither the National Assembly, this big assembly, neither us nor even the president can interfere with the executive functions of a state government. We can't interfere with the executive functions. And what we intend doing, if we go with this, is that we are taking a decision for a state government. We can't
Honorable Ghana, approach the chair.
Mr. Speaker, I can direct us to the very important case of Attorney General of Ogun State versus Attorney General of the Federation. This matter was clearly spelled out, that neither the president nor the National Assembly can take executive decisions on behalf of a state government. So I don't think we are talking about procedures for licensing under the Licensing Act, Minerals Act. That's not what is an issue here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
This is how it's supposed to be on issues of importance like this. You know, that is why I've always asked the Secretariat to put fewer motions on our order paper to enable members express themselves. The knowledge of law, the knowledge of how government operates, principles of democracy and all the rest of them. And today, I've seen a robust debate. I've seen people debating, and it is one of the kind since we started. And I hope to see more of this, where issues will be thrown up. We won't just rush to prayers and leave. That is not why the taxpayers are paying us to be here. We should ventilate, you know, have diverse opinion and then come to an agreement where necessary. I really commend those who have contributed. I know many people want to contribute, but for the sake of time, Jaha, I won't recognize you today. For the sake of time, we have to move on to other issues to round up, because there is another speaking time that is coming where members are going to express themselves 2 minutes. So let's rush to get to that place. The final right of reply is to Honorable Ghana. Please, Honorable Ghana, you have the right of reply now, and let's hear you.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Given the robust debates and opinions that have come from my colleagues here, distinguished colleagues, I'll step down this motion at this time and consult with my state governor and other institutions and come back to this floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ghana. That is a display of parliamentary maturity. For further legislative consultation, you have taken the step you've taken, and I want to commend you for how topical the issue you raised. It has enriched the body of knowledge of the legislature on this particular issue because of the topics surrounding it, and also how you prepared that motion. It was well done, and I hope and wish you well as you consult better in the future on this particular issue, and we'll be willing to take you on it once you are ready. Motion is hereby stepped down, withdrawn on the leave of the sponsor. Honorable colleagues, before I go ahead, the motion that had to do with mental health, I want to add another committee to that. The motion is also referred to House Committee on Specialty Care, Specialty Care Hospitals, as one of the committees that will be looking into this. I heard that's one of the committees of the House. Honorable colleagues, the ninth order of the day is a motion on need to investigate the service and unprecedented environmental damage within oil-producing communities, standing in the name of Honorable Amadou Osman Jaha. Honorable Jaha is invited to move his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Ame Jaha Babao is my name. I represent Chibok, Dambua, and Goza Federal Constituency. On record, Mr. Speaker, including the remaining 87 not yet recovered Chibok girls. Mr. Speaker, I rise this afternoon with the leave of the House to present a motion to investigate the service and unprecedented environmental damage within oil-producing communities in Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, the House noted that Nigeria is ranked the 15th major oil-producing nation with an average production of almost 22 million barrels per day and is reputed to be a gas bed. Also note that many oil wells in Bayelsa are depleted and are no more commercially viable, which accounts for the sale of lots of old upstream assets by international oil and gas companies to local players. Aware that international global best practice require that the depleted and commercially non-viable oil well platforms be decommissioned to prevent environmental hazards or interfere with other maritime fires. Also aware that Section 232 of the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, provides that at the end of their exploration activity, oil-producing companies should ensure that the environment is returned to its original state. I repeat, its original state, by decommissioning and disposing non-viable platforms. Further aware that Section 233 of the same Act, Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, provides for establishment of a fund for the mitigation of negative environmental impacts associated with the decommissioning or abandonment of oil and gas field assets. Concerned that the local and foreign oil companies have persistently disregarded extant laws by abandoning non-viable platforms and facilities at their operational basis without following the standard practice, thereby posing great risk to the host communities, as the emission of poisonous gas from abandoned facilities are resulting to unexplainable ailment and terminal disease among the people. Also concerned that the abandoned facilities are impeding water transportation, causing unimaginable dangers to farers. Worried that the relevant regulatory bodies are not taking any serious steps to set things right, while members of the host communities are suffering life-threatening hardship as a result of negligence from the parties involved. Resolve, mandate the Committee on Petroleum Resources downstream to investigate the environmental damage on oil-producing communities caused by non-compliance of extant laws by oil-producing companies. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move. Thank you.
Any seconder to that beautiful motion? Honorable Runrum.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Right Honorable Kabir Alasorurum. I represent Rano Bunko, the Kebe Federal Constituency. The Speaker in Prankano. I rise to second the motion as moved by my brother and colleague, Honorable Ahmed Jaha. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Motion moved, motion seconded. Any amendment? Yes, let me hear you, my brother.
Mr. Speaker, I remain Honorable Umar Ajilo. I'm from Makarbikuda Federal Constituency from Kaduna State. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, my amendment here is just in the prayers. I think the prayer is only one prayer, I think. There's only one prayer there. Instead of this matter to refer to the Committee of Petroleum downstream, I think it's better to refer to the Committee of Host Communities. This is my only prayer. This is my only amendment.
You want it to be referred to where?
Committee of Host Community.
Oh, host community should be one of the committees.
Yes, it is a committee here.
Okay, I think what you mean is that in addition to Petroleum Resources Committee, we should add.
To include the host community.
Okay, include host community. Thank you, my brother. Any seconder?
Yes.
Lalu, is that you? No, you will not second. You've led a motion. Now you that is laughing there. You, yes.
The Right Honorable Speaker, my name is Honorable Sanilal, representing Zongo Bori Federal Constituency from Kazana State. I here to second for the amendment moved by the Honorable Ajilo. I so seconded.
Yeah, guys, I amended. Any seconder to? Oh, you seconded already. Those in support of that amendment say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Amendment, yes, Gaza.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Gaza Gbefi once again. If we leave this motion to go the way we have couched it with these prayers, the main culprits will be getting away. And who are the main culprits? The Ministry of Environment. The Ministry of Environment, by law, are the only government agency empowered to issue environmental impact assessment certificates. That's number one. Number two, you have agencies like NOSRA and so many agencies under environment that are statutorily empowered to carry out this function. So, as a matter of principle, the Committee of Environment should be a principal part of this investigation.
Okay, you are saying that they have an enlarged jurisdiction over the issue and they should be made to be part of this. Any seconder to that motion? The man from Uruguay, former Speaker of Gombe.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I am Right Honorable Garba,
member representing Yamatu Federal Constituency from Gombe State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. The amendment ably moved by my colleague that the Committee on Environment should be included as one of the principal committees to work on the motion. I so move.
Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Amendment.
Amendment, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Kafila.
I want to refer us to paragraph 3. My name is Kafilat Ogbara, representing Koshofe Federal Constituency. Paragraph 3, aware that international global practices requires that all depleted and commercially non-viable oil well platforms be decommissioned to prevent environmental hazards or interference with other maritime activities. So I want to add to the prayers that we should urge the federal government to decommission all depleted and commercially non-viable oil well platforms to prevent environmental hazards or maritime interference. Thank you.
I didn't understand that amendment. Just in simple words.
I want to add to the prayer that we should urge the federal government, add another prayer, that we should urge the federal government to decommission all depleted and commercially non-viable oil well platforms to prevent environmental hazards or interference with other maritime activities. As a prayer.
Okay. That non-functional oil wells and not the rest of them. Is it not outside the scope of that motion? I think it's outside the scope of that motion. Amendment should be tailored to the subject matter of that particular motion. Please increase my mic. I don't want to shout. Amendment should be tailored to the subject matter of that particular motion. In this case, Ahmed Jaha, is it in tune with the subject matter?
No, sir. And actually, based on the international best practice and the provision of 232 and 233 of the PIA, is the basic responsibility of the companies that establish that platforms to decommission that platforms and clear everything to avoid environmental hazard, not federal government or state government or local government responsibility to do that. As
All
operators, is their responsibility. So
All right.
That is it, sir. Thank you.
Honorable Kafila, can you withdraw your amendment?
Okay, in line with the information that I have now, I hereby withdraw the amendment. I so withdraw.
Amendment.
Thank you very much.
Amendment.
Yes, Honorable Ginger.
Amendment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Very dear colleagues. My name remains Ginger Obidna Omusibe. I represent Isialangwa North, Isialangwa South Federal Constituency of Abia State. Mr. Speaker, by the wordings and prayers of this motion, we will all agree that it requires a climate action. So I want us to amend the prayers to add House Committee on Climate Change to be, and upstreams to be part of this committee to look into this motion.
This motion must be so interesting that every committee want to be part of it. Jaha, this motion must be very powerful that everyone want to be added to it. I think climate change is not far from it. Any seconder to that? On climate change, any seconder to that? Doctor?
Mr. Speaker, sir, and the honorable colleagues, thank you for this opportunity. I'm Dr. Adideshola Adidayo from Lagos. I represent the people of Apapa Federal Constituency.
Please speak up. Speak into the mic.
I represent the people of Apapa Federal Constituency. We were discussing it here, so I feel that climate change committee should also be a part. I therefore second the amendment, ably moved by my...
Thank you. Those in support of this amendment say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Amendment.
I think we have had enough, Honorable Jimmy. What is the amendment? After that, you. No, after Honorable Jimmy, you. Isiaka, just 1 minute.
Right, Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remain Baba Jimmy Benson. My amendment, sir, is to ensure there is conciseness, is to ensure there is nimbleness, is to ensure that there is effectiveness. I believe that the appropriate authority...
So what is the amendment?
To clear pollution is the Ministry of Environment. So I think that it will be very apt of us to just include the Ministry of Environment as the only committee charged with dealing with this issue. Otherwise, there will be confusion. If you add climate change, you add downstream, you add upstream, it will be nebulous and ambiguous. So I think that the only agency charged with cleaning up is the Ministry of Environment under the agency of the NOSREA. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
You are asking us to rescind other additions that have been done. Environment was added. Petroleum resources was there before. Climate change was added. Host community was added. And we should rescind all of them and use only environment.
By our rule book, sir, if you look at the functions of the committee, cleaning up polluted area lies with an agency other than the Ministry of Environment.
When a motion like this is referred to joint committees that have relevant activities around the space of concern as raised by the motion, there is always the leading committee by our rules. And that is the committee that has the highest jurisdiction on the matter. So from what you are saying now, it appears to me that the environment has the largest jurisdiction over the subject matter. But that does not mean that those who have minor jurisdictions that will aid the work of the one with the major jurisdiction should be jettisoned. So I will allow other committees to be there, but in that joint committee, it will be led by the Committee on Environment, while the subcommittees will be under the control of other suggested relevant committees within the space. So I'll put the question. Those in support of the motion as amended, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. So this particular motion is referred to Committee on the Environment. Oh, the gavel has gone down. I forgot I asked you to do an amendment. I'll give you another chance, my brother. The committees that this is referred to include environment, include petroleum resources, climate change, and host communities. Honorable colleagues, the 10th order of the day, which is the last motion of the day, just 1 minute. So we are including petroleum upstream, downstream, midstream on that, but it will be led by the environment. The 10th order of the day is a motion on need to rehabilitate the Onitsha-Atani Osomola Ogwikbele Ndoni Road in Ogbaro, Federal Constituency, Anambra State. Standing in the name of Honorable Afam Victor Ogene, it's an infrastructure motion. I want you to go straight to the prayers, please, if you don't mind.
Thank you. Right,
we still have another order, the 11th order, please.
My name remains Honorable Afam Victor Ogene. I represent all the people of Obaru Federal Constituency who have requested me to urge you to support this motion. As an infrastructure...
Speak into the mic, please. Your voice is so lovely.
As an infrastructure-related motion, as explained by Mr. Speaker, I would only mention the heading and go to the prayers. It's on the need to rehabilitate the Onitsha, Atani, Osomala, Ogwipele, and Ndoni in River State Road. The prayers, prayer 1, urge the Federal Ministry of Works and the House Committee on Appropriation to include completion of the Onitsha Atani Osomala Ogwipele Ndoni Road project in the 2024 budget estimates. Also urge the Federal Road Maintenance Agency to, in the meantime, provide palliative measures on the road to ease transportation thereon. The third prayer is to mandate the Committee on Works and Federal Road Maintenance Agency to ensure compliance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
Any seconder, please? Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name, honorable members, my name is Honorable Mohammed Dang Abbashehu Gurka, member representing Zaki Federal Constituency from Bauchi State. I stand to second the motion moved by my colleague as I so move. Thank you.
You so second.
I go second.
It's an infrastructure motion, and I'll just put the question. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The motion is referred to the Committee on Works and Federal Road Maintenance Agency. Honorable colleagues, the 11th order of the day is a motion on the need to protect and secure the aquatic and terrestrial habitat of host communities in Niger Delta region. This motion is standing in the name of Honorable Philip Abase. Honorable Abase is invited to move the motion if he's in the House.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm in the House. My name is Honorable Chief Dr. Philip Agbese. I represent the good and lovely people of Ado Okpoku, Ogbadimbo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Benue State. I rise this beautiful morning, Mr. Speaker, to move a motion on the need to protect and secure the aquatic and terrestrial habitat of host communities in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria. The House notes that the Niger Delta region, with an estimated population of about 31 million persons and a landmass of about 70,000 kilometers, is a major hydrocarbon reserve in the country. Also note that the ecology of the region consists of mangrove swamp, freshwater swamps, and lowland rainforests, which provide fishing and farming livelihood options for over 90% of the inhabitants. Further note that this incredibly well-adapted ecosystem contains one of the highest concentrations of biodiversity on the planet, in addition to supporting abundant flora and fauna, arable terrain that can sustain a wide variety of crops, lumber or agricultural trees, are more species of freshwater fish than any ecosystem in West Africa. Aware that the Niger Delta Basin produces around 2 million barrels of oil per day, and the entire system is predicted to contain 34.5 billion barrels of oil and 94 trillion feet of natural gas. Also aware that over 57 companies are involved in hydrocarbon exploration and production activities in the Niger Delta region, and the attendant pollution from the activities has made the Niger Delta to be regarded as one of the worst among similar delta regions in the world. Further aware that the cases of pollution are exacerbated by colossal breaches of the pipelines with very weak integrity causing spills and also increasing incidences of unwholesome activities in the about 1,000 abandoned wells littered across the Niger Delta region. Alarmed that the livelihood of the people who are fishermen and farmers is under threat of extinction because of the toxicity of the terrestrial and aquatic habitat, thus making farming and fishing activities impossible. Also alarmed at the high rates of crime in the region, as residents are dejected and impoverished by the exploration and production of the rich hydrocarbon reserves in the Niger Delta. Cognizance of the need to ensure inclusivity of the host communities in the hydrocarbon exploration and production value chain to enable them to derive economic benefits, particularly in the provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act. Determined to monitor and ensure the remediation and restoration of identified contaminated locations and communities to arrest the increasing depletion of sources of livelihood of the people, the House resolves to. Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, may I seek, here it is to urge the Niger Delta Commission to protect and secure the aquatic and terrestrial habitat of host communities in the Niger Delta region and ensure their inclusivity in the operation and management of the hydrocarbon chain. The second prayer is to mandate the Committee of the House on Host Communities to ensure compliance and report back within 8 days for further legislative action. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Dr. Midala Usman Balami. I represent the good people of Askira Uba, our federal constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Borno State. I rise this morning, Mr. Speaker, to second this very important motion as moved by my brother, Chief Dr. Philip Abase. I so second. Thank you.
I think this is a straightforward motion. Off your mic, Tabesi. I'll just put the question. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion is referred to the Committee on Niger Delta Development Commission and Host Communities, once fully constituted. The 12th order of the day is a motion on the need to investigate the indiscriminate issuance of certificate of no objection by the Bureau of Public Procurement and non-compliance with mandatory post-procurement audit standing in the name of Honorable Peter Akpanke. Honorable Akpanke is invited to move the motion if he's in the House.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Chief Peter Akpanke. I represent the good and hospitable people of Obanliku, Bekwara, Obudu Federal Constituency of Cross River State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion on the need to investigate the indiscriminate issuance of certificate of no objection by the Bureau of Public Procurement and non-compliance with mandatory post-procurement audits. Mr. Speaker,
The House notes that by the provisions of the Section 6(1)(c) and Section 16(1)(b) of the Public Procurement Act 2007, the Bureau of Public Procurement (BPP) is authorized to issue a certificate of no objection to contracts awarded by relevant procurement entity. The House also notes that the power vested in the Bureau of Public Procurement are aimed at ensuring that the letters and spirit of the Public Procurement Act are complied with. The government gets value for money, contracts awarded are within relevant thresholds, backed by budgetary allocation. The House further notes that the Bureau of Public Procurement has failed to comply with the mandatory post-procurement audit as required by Section 5P of the Public Procurement Act 2007. Observes that the Bureau has consistently engaged in underhand dealings in the grant of certificate of no objection, thus abusing the power to make pecuniary gains and increasing incidences of abandoned and failed projects across the country. Mr. Speaker, the House also observed that such gross abuses and violation of the Public Procurement Act 2007 has been exasperated by the recent increase in arbitrary nomination to procuring entities of winners for tendering processes, and where the procuring entities decline, the process is interjected and frustrated in bad faith and for flimsy reasons. Worried that if urgent steps are not taken to investigate the allegations and address any proven infractions, the Bureau of Public Procurement is likely to transform itself from a regulator to a disruptor and eventually endanger the entire public procurement process. The House resolves to mandate the Committee on Public Procurement to investigate the above allegations and report back within 6 weeks for further legislative action. The House also resolves to mandate the Committee on Public Procurement to consider the biannual report submitted in the last 6 years and make their findings known to the public. Mr. Speaker, dear honorable colleagues, I hereby move.
Any seconder to this motion? Honorable Oshawa. Works.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Akin Alabi. I represent the good people of Egbeda on our federal constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second all these all-important motion. They need to investigate indiscriminate issuance of certificate of no objection. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
I think this is a straightforward motion. Let's not use amendment to water it down. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Public Procurement once fully constituted. The 13th order of the day is a motion on the need for reconstruction of Lagos-Sango Abeokuta Expressway. Standing in the name of Honorable Ibrahim Isiaka, Honorable Isiaka is invited to move the motion if he's in the House.
Mr. Speaker, I'm here, since you are still here, sir.
It's an infrastructure motion, so you just go straight to the prayers, if you don't mind.
Mr. Speaker, my own distinguished honorable colleagues, Ibrahim Ayokunle Isiaka, I represent the very good and wonderful people of Ifoiweko Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from the fastest economic growing state in Nigeria. Proudly, I'm from Ogun State, Mr. Speaker. I rise under permission to move this critical motion about the need for reconstruction of Lagos-Sango Abeokuta Expressway. Mr. Speaker, the concern is about the deep potholes and gully erosion ravaging the road caused by torrential rainfalls and the age of the road. The House herefrom resolves that to urge the Federal Ministry of Works to resume work and complete the construction of the Songo E4 Abeokuta Expressway and on schedule. The House mandates the Committee on Works to investigate the cause of abandonment and demobilization of the contractor of the work on the site for the construction of the road and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative actions. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any seconder? You're already standing, so second. Honorable, why are you sitting down? All right. We always believe if it comes from the south, it should go to the north for second. I want to give this opportunity to Honorable Aminu.
In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most gracious, the most merciful. Mr. Speaker, sir, my highly respected colleagues, I rise to second the motion moved by my able colleague on the need to reconstruct Lagos-Songo Abeokuta Expressway. I second the motion. Thank you.
It's an infrastructure motion, so I just put the question. Those in support of this motion say aye.
Amendment.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Amendment, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, amendment.
The gavel has gone down. This motion is referred to the Committee on Works once fully constituted. The 14th order of the day is consideration of a bill for an act to amend Federal Medical Centers Act to establish Federal Medical Center Rano, Kano State and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Tuesday, 18th July 2023. The leader will move for its consideration. Leader, please.
Okay. Mr. Speaker. Wait. Mr. Speaker, Julius Ihonvere, Owan Federal Constituency, arise to move that the House do consider 3 reports: a bill for an act to amend Federal Medical Centers Act to establish Federal Medical Center Rano, Kano State, and for related matters, HB 91. A bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Education, Bende, to provide full-time courses, teaching, instruction, and training in technology, applied sciences, commerce, arts, social sciences, humanities, and management, and to carry out research in the development and adaptation of techniques, and also make provision for the appointment of the provost and the officials of the college to carry out the administration and the discipline of students of the college and for related matters 2021, HB 125, and 3, a bill for an act to repeal the Oaths Act, Cap 01, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Oaths Act 2023 to take cognizance of technological advances and make provisions for digital and electronic means of administering oaths and affirmations in Nigeria and for related matters, HB 122. Mr. Speaker, I move that this report should be considered by the Committee of the Whole. I so move.
Thank you. Minority Leader, please second.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the House do resolve into Committee of the Whole to consider the 3 bills. I so second.
We are considering 14 or the 14 or the 15 and or the 16 of the day. Those in support that the House resolve into committee of the whole to consider on the 14, 15 and 16 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. House Leader, please move that the House do resolve into.
Mr. Speaker, Julius Ihonvere OON DSSRS, Oma Federal Constituency. I rise to move that the House do revert to committee of the whole. I so move.
Seconder?
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I second the motion that the House do resolve into committee of the whole. I so second.
Those in support of the House do resolve into committee of the whole to consider this bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The House hereby resolve into the committee of the whole. The first bill to be considered is for an act to amend Federal Medical Centers Act to establish Federal Medical Center Rano, Kano State, and for related matters. I invite the leader to give the synopsis of the bill.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for inviting me to give a synopsis. I think this...
Mr. Chairman, not Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Chairman, this is a rather straightforward bill, essentially to amend the second schedule and include Federal Medical Center, Rano Kano, in the list of Federal Medical Centers as listed in the document before us. Apparently, this was not included in that list, and to correct that error, we brought this amendment bill, which is before us for amendment. So it's a simple, straightforward matter to include Rano Kano in the list.
Thank you, Leader. We'll make it simple, like you said, and we have about 3 to 4 clauses to look at. Clause 1, Clause 2, Clause 2, yes?
Mr. Speaker, Clause 2. We have amendment of the second schedule to the Principal Act is amended by inserting new item 3. That's Federal Medical Center, Rano, Kano State. I think that thereafter, the other items should also be amended subsequently, because if we have a new item 3, perhaps 3 should then move to 4, 4, 5 like that. So that should be included. And then I also see a conflict in the name. You have Rano, and then perhaps you are not there. Under 3, the explanatory memorandum, you have Raro.
Rano, now there's no Garo.
It's a good observation. It's a typographical error.
Yes.
So Raro should be corrected to Rano.
Rano, yes.
Yes.
R-A-N-O.
Yes. And then also the numbering. That was your concern. We should include the new item 3 in the numbering, and that will also flow with the other one subsequently. So 2 as amended, carried. Carried. Clause 3 as amended, carried. Explanatory memorandum, carried. The long title, carried. The second bill to be considered is for an act to establish the Federal College of Education Bende to provide full time courses teaching instructions and in training in technology, applied sciences, commerce, arts, social sciences, humanities, and management, and to carry out research in the development and adaptation of techniques, and also make provision for the appointment of a provost and the officials of the college to carry out the administration and the discipline of students of the college and for related matters. I invite the leader to move the synopsis of the bill as well. Leader, please.
Mr. Chairman, I remain Julius Ihonfere, 01 Federal Constituency. This bill provides for the establishment of the Federal College of Education in Bende to provide full training in several areas. As you can see from the provisions, certain sections of it are standard in terms of courses and subjects provided by colleges of education across the country. But I guess that the difference in this is that there's a very strong emphasis on technology, applied sciences, and the development and adaptation of techniques, which gives us information as to the fact that on graduation, these students will be practical in the field and will be able to be self-employed if necessary. And even if they go into teaching, they will impart this knowledge of technology, adaptation of techniques to their students. I think that this is the area the world is moving to. Nigeria is moving in that direction, from nanotechnology to artificial intelligence to all sorts of, even the technology of things. Things are beginning to emerge, and Nigeria is moving rather at snail speed. But this College of Education will make a huge difference. The provisions of the bill are contained in the document before us. I pray that the House do consider this bill for approval. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Professor Julius. It's amazing how you come alike so much when it comes to education. If they had asked the House to export you to be Minister of Education, we wouldn't have blinked our eyes, because you really, really come alive when it comes to education. Sound synopsis that covered all the issues. The question is that the clauses stand part of the bill, so I'm going to mention them and I will just say carried. Clause 1, Clause 2, Clause 3, Clause 3, please.
Clause 3C.
Clause 3C.
Yeah, I think it's a typo error. Which should be which. The representative of the university which the college is affiliated to for purposes of moderation.
Yes.
Just that correction, sir.
So 3C as amended, carried, carried. Clause 4, Clause 4, Clause 5.
Clause 5, Clause 5.
Clause 5, yes.
Sorry, sir, I'm slightly at a loss. Clause 5 talks about functions of the college. And then from the long title, I see that teaching of commerce is clearly a major field. And then it's not
captured.
It's not captured in Clause 5.
So let's amend 1A, I, and add.
That's 5A, 1. Commerce should be added.
Okay. So you put commas before the and. 5 as amended, carried. Clause 6, Clause 6, Clause 6, carried. Clause 7, carried. Clause 8, carried. Clause 9, Clause 9, Clause 10, Clause 11, Clause 11, Clause 12, Clause 12, Clause 13, Clause 14, Clause 15, Clause 16, Clause 17,
Mr. Speaker.
Yes,
Mr.
please.
Mr. Chairman, clause 17.
Clause 17.
Clause 17, C, A and B. I believe it is thee, not he.
Okay, is
The chairman, not he chairman.
oh yes. 17 as corrected. Carried. 18. Carried. 19. 19. Carried. 20. 21. 22. 23. Explanatory memorandum. Carried. Long title. Carried. Honorable colleagues, the third bill to be considered for an act to repeal the Oath Act Cap 01 Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004 and enact the Oath Act 2023 to take cognizance of technological advancement and make provision for digital and electronic means of administering oaths and affirmations in Nigeria and for related matters. I invite the leader once more to give the synopsis of the bill.
Mr. Speaker, Chairman, thank you for once again yielding the floor for me to give a synopsis on this act to repeal the Oath Act and laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 and enact the Oath Bill 2023, where it should be Oath Act, I think, to take cognizance of technological advancements and make provisions for digital and electronic means of administering oaths and affirmations in Nigeria. I think, Mr. Chairman, this is something that is very innovative, creative, and timely. One of the reasons why our civil and public services can be slow is the repetition of the same process over and over and wasting time, paper, and useful period for invention. What this seems to do is to try to amend the existing Oaths Act and introduce new and creative ways to save time in the administration of oaths. For instance, if you've taken it once as Speaker of the House, if you become Vice President or President, well, except for President, it exempts President here. But if you became a Minister tomorrow or Governor, you may not need to repeat it because the technology that is being introduced has stored your oath, and unless you change your name and your personality completely, then you'll be required to do that. So I think this is good. This is what we are looking for. This is the kind of things we are trying to even introduce in our own National Assembly to make things faster for us, so we don't have to spend a lot of time here. I strongly urge my colleagues, my respected colleagues, to please support this bill so that we can move into the technology age in the administration of oaths in Nigeria.
Thank you once more, Leader. Quite sound understanding of Nigeria and our needs, and also your understanding of technology and what it does for our development is amazing, considering the generation you are coming from. We are so impressed that the synopsis addressed the matter. The question is that these clauses stand part of the bill, and those in support will just say carried. Clause 1, Clause 2, Clause 3, Clause 4, Clause 5, Clause 6. Yes?
Clause 5, Mr. Speaker.
Clause 5, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, yes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, 5.1a, 5.1a, 1 Roman. Muslim place both hands on the Quran. Mr. Speaker, nothing goes on top of the Quran in the Islamic culture and jurisprudence. You hold the Quran. You don't place your hand on the Quran. That's why not even a pin, not even a toothpick you can put on the Quran. So let's take it in line with B, with 2, where it says, Christian hold in his right hand. It could be both in the Islamic
You can hold it on the left hand or you can hold it in the right hand. So let's be not placing your both hands on the Quran, but hold it in your hand. I think it's better.
That's important. So let's amend that 51AI to still on the same issue. Okay, let me hear you. Let's hear opinions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to add to what my brother have already said, my name is Dr. Midala Usman Balami. I represent Askira Uba, Howell Federal Constituency. The Roman numerals number 2 says Christians hold in his right hand copy of the Bible or of the New Testament. So that of the New Testament should not be there because the New Testament is not the complete Bible. It's either Bible or that should not be there. Thank you.
Yeah, that is correct. It's either the Bible or the Bible, not the Bible or the New Testament. So we are correcting the one of the Muslim to hold on the left hand, right hand, to hold, and then on the right hand. Okay, and then Christians.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, there may be an individual
Who doesn't
is physically
have-
challenged.
So we
who
just
may
hold-
not have both hands.
Okay.
Can hang, but that is a different situation. That is a different situation. But in this case, can hold in a hand, can hold in your hands. Either you have left hand or right hand. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so let's just use hand. Yes. All right. Okay, so still on the same issue?
The chairman,
Yes.
I think I agree hand is hand. But in Quran, we differ between left and right hand. Let us say right hand. That's how it is.
In the case of disability.
If you are disabled, you don't have hand, then you are excluded. Just right hand.
Okay. So we are narrowing down to right hand. Let me hear from you, Abase. And then after that, Oshoba.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I want to sincerely thank you.
Us, consideration of report debate is, for some of you who don't attend, you learn a lot from this kind of engagement because it's in a relaxed atmosphere, and you have some of these senior parliamentarians, guiding with their opinion. So always endeavor to attend. All right, go ahead, Abase.
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you and my very distinguished colleagues for this opportunity and for a day like this in my life and as a member of this great house. For me, if those chasing me in the election petition tribunal succeed, having participated in this consideration today, particularly section 7, I shall remain fulfilled till eternity. The absence of religious beliefs.
I don't understand. Are you amending 5? Are you on 5? No, let's finish 5. We'll get to 7. Be patient.
It's okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Be patient. Okay, 5 as amended. Carried. 6. Carried. 7. That is where you have issues. Abase, you can now come up with your issue. Make it brief, please. Straight to the point.
Well, Mr. Chairman, sir, it is not an issue. It is to thank you and my colleagues for this great consideration, because this is a great watershed in the history of our country that people without religious belief, not necessarily Christians or Muslims, even those who practice African traditional religion for the very first time, are being recognized in our legislative instrument as far as this country is concerned. On this note, I want to especially thank this committee and this House for doing those without religious belief in this country this great honor and this great favor.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, but let me mention this. During consideration of report is not the time for expression of opinion. But your opinion is good, but next time, for some of you who are new members, during consideration of report, it's a technical session. And we speak directly to the letters of the law. It's not a time for debate. It's not a time for in fact, in Parliament, we don't argue, we only debate. You only debate the issues that borders on the letters before you. So your opinion that this is a good innovation into our laws is superb. But next time, express that opinion during plenary.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank
Chairman.
you.
I'm grateful, sir.
All right, 7, carried. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. Okay, that shows that you are very observant. I thought you would have just said carried again. Shadows. The long title. Karen. House Leader, please move that we revert to plenary.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for this opportunity as I rise to move that the House do revert to full plenary and for the Speaker to give us the report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise to second the motion that the House do resolve back to plenary. I so second.
Those in support that we revert to plenary to report progress, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, the House and Committee of the Whole considered reports on a bill for an act to amend Federal Medical Centers Act to establish Federal Medical Center around Okano State and related matters. And the House approved Clause 1, Clause 2 as amended, Clause 3 as amended, the explanatory memorandum and the long title of the bill. Secondly, honorable colleagues, the House and Committee of the Whole considered a report on a bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Education, Bende, to provide full-time courses, teaching, instruction, and training in technology, applied science, commerce, arts, social science, humanities, and management, and to carry out research in the development and adaptation of techniques, and also make provision for the appointment of the provost and officials of the college to carry out the administration and the discipline of students of the college and for related matters. And the House approved clauses 1 and 2, clause 3 as amended, clause 4, clause 5 as amended, clauses 6 to 16, clauses 17 as amended, clauses 18 to 23, the shadow, explanatory memorandum, and the long title. For the second one, and then for that first one that I didn't hit the gavel. The third report, honorable colleagues, is that the House and Committee of the Whole considered a report on a bill for an act to repeal the Old Art Capital Market and Institutions. Which capital market? And institutions. Where did you get capital market from? The House and Committee of the Whole considered a report on a bill for an act to repeal the Old Act 01 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 and enact the Oath Act 2023 to make cognizance of technological advancement and make provision for digital and electronic means of administering oaths and affirmations in Nigeria and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 4, clauses 5 as amended, clauses 6 to 19, the schedule and the long title of the bill. I hereby invite the House Leader to move that the House do adopt the reports of the recommendation on the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole. House Leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the very clear report. I rise to move that the House do adopt the reports as given by Mr. Speaker, reflecting the decisions of Committee of the Whole. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the House do adopt the report as moved by the majority leader. So second.
Those in support that the House do adopt the report say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The report is hereby adopted as a working instrument of the House. Honorable colleagues, you may recall that we promised that we were going to have a chat today on independence and make speeches that our constituents will hear, but I'm afraid the time is fast spent. Tomorrow we are going to be live on TV. We are encouraging you to start to come early. Secretariat, please reduce the number of issues on the order paper. Let Nigerians hear us speak tomorrow. Those who have written their name, tomorrow you'll be live on television telling Nigerians how you feel about Nigeria with our challenges and our prosperity as we turn 63. I think this is supported by the House. Those in support that we have this conversation tomorrow say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader, please move for adjournment of the House.
Mr. Speaker.
Bring this in tomorrow.
I haven't successfully gone through every item in our order paper.
The House is not over. I can reconvene the House now, so sit down. I have the right to reconvene the House. I'm still presiding. Sit down, please. The leader is moving for adjournment. Be patient, please. Leader, please, you are protected. Go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, let me use this opportunity to draw the attention of our very respected members to Order 9. From Order 9, 4, 1 to 10. Page 50, 51. It is very important that every member to go through these pages so that you know how the House operates and the rules. This place is not called the hallowed chambers for nothing. The kind of marketing and chattering and noise that goes on here is an embarrassment to us. Please, we are pleading. Go through this page 50, 51, Order 9, 4, 1 to 10. Thank you very much. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the House do adjourn to tomorrow, the 5th of October, 2023 at 11 a.m. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Before it's seconded, I want to inform you we might be announcing the committees tomorrow. So make sure that your friends who are not here, that you inform them. We need a full house for your presentation to Nigerians. We need a full house when we announce the committees, especially the statutory committee. Minority Leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the House do stand adjourned to tomorrow. I so second.
Those in support that the House do adjourn to tomorrow, the 5th of October, say aye. Those against say nay. Those in support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.